It's Halloween 1978 again. Do you know where your children are again? 5th time's the charm in this timeline. Welcome to episode 259 of the Fake Nerd Podcast, where we're reviewing Halloween 1920. I forget to lose count. I lose count. What's up, Brandon? I see you're on the other screen. What's up, my man?
I am on the other screen today. I am remote today. I'm the only one who is, due to some unfortunate circumstances. Hello, everyone.
By our powers combined, we are Ben.
Yeah.
We got Ben. We got Sparks.
I've never been in this situation before. Normally, I'm in my own little spot. So this is
Ben sandwich.
It is a Ben sandwich. This is weird. This is new.
Welcome.
You know what? All I'm looking at.
What?
What? What?
All I'm looking at is a tasty sandwich.
Oh my god. Sorry. This is not a vegetarian sandwich because this is very beefy.
As you can see.
Yeah, hi guys. We got some stuff that we got to do before we get into our weeks, if you don't mind.
What if I
the first? Well, too bad. The first of it is a new shirt is going to be on TeePublic.
Oh,
starting this week. Our good friend Travis Alexander designed this shirt, and I'll pull it up for the audience, for the viewers. Based on what we've been discussing about with What If, where we say "Oops, all bangers." It is an "Oops, all bangers" shirt. Is going up on TeePublic right now. I searched high and low to see if it has already been done. It is surprisingly, at least that I could find, already been done. However, except for one person who made an album called "Oops, all bangers."
That's pretty lofty to make your own album saying everyone's a banger. Like, you got to let other people decide.
It's bold.
Man. It's bold.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it's got a bunch of bombs on it. So what I did was, so what I did was I messaged him and I go, hey buddy. I didn't say buddy. Hey, we got. I have this idea for a shirt for our podcast. It has nothing to do with what you're doing. I stumbled upon your thing. Is this okay? And he was like, yeah, go for it. I'm like, cool. So we got an "Oops, all banger" shirt.
I love it.
Nice.
All right, but we also have some links. This was a big week for Basement Arcade.
Was it?
It was. Sparks worked overtime to get practically every day something from Basement Arcade launched this week.
BT Dubs totally did not plan to wear the shirt today. It was just like, F it, I'm wearing this one today.
I love it.
For audio listeners, he's wearing a Basement
Arcade t-shirt, yeah.
We have the second part of Crawl.
Mm-hmm.
That's it there. We did a second round of that game. And the first part of Outlast went up this week.
That's definitely the spookiest game we played.
It definitely is.
That one was very stressful to watch.
I want to say that one was more stressful than another one that's coming up, because that one was more tense, but this one was like...
You never know.
Well, because in Outlast, you actually move, and in the other one...
You're stationary.
I'm just sitting still.
Yeah.
So...
It's a different type of game,
Yeah.
I'm very excited for actually that episode to come out. I want to see what that looked like. Basement Arcade also had a pause menu, Ben.
Yes, we did. I talked to Brian, who is known around the internet as Since Spacies, because he's been playing video games since Spacies. That's a term down in Australia, because when you say I've been playing since Spacies, he means Space Invaders. When Space Invaders first came out.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so he's been playing video games. He used to work for Sega, for the Sega Hotline in Australia back in the 90s.
Oh, wait.
And that was really fun to talk to him, because I, thanks to the documentary High Score, we got to know what was a little bit like for the Nintendo side as a hotline guy. So now I get to talk about Sega, and I think there was like an awesome story in there concerning Nintendo that actually just blew my mind, and I was like, how did you not get fired for that? or really just like, how did your boss just not care? Or
it was the 90s.
Yeah, it was a really good conversation. Really looking forward for you guys to listen to it.
Hell yeah.
The audio of that will go up soon. Like I said, I'll just say it. I fell down the stairs. I hurt my foot real bad, and I was not able to get the audio up. It'll go up tonight, so it'll probably be up by the time you're listening to this. Now that I'm actually in my office. And then we had 2 Fake Nerds watches go up this week. We also had a Fake Nerds watch for the final part of What If, episodes 8 and 9. We put them all together. That's a show.
Yeah.
We had a lot to say about
I've already forgotten about it, if I'm being honest.
I forgot about parts of it. I remember the good things of it.
I just haven't thought about it.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the 9th episode, yes, the 9th episode of Star Trek Lower Decks with myself, Just a Little Podcast Cookie, and Michael Carls from Downright Annoyed.
Who just got married.
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Good job.
Anyone else?
I was doing Evangelion.
Oh, okay.
You did the song. You did the song.
We did a 5-hour discussion.
Ben, we
about
did.
Evangelion.
Okay.
We know what you did.
Okay.
Yeah, congratulations to Michael Carls and Riley Sloan.
Riley Sloan? Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Wait, is it
Yes.
still
Riley
Sloan?
Carls.
Or is it Riley Carls now?
Sloan Carls.
Sloan Carls. All right.
Yeah, very happy for them that they were at a Taco Bell, which is my dream wedding.
They because Dan Reichert got married at Taco Bell. There, you can actually get officiated at Taco Bell and make it a real thing. Hey man, the world's funny.
Buddy, I've been trying.
I bet. I believe
There is a Taco Bell in Vegas that we looked into for a lot longer than I anticipated we would.
Oh my god, Taco Bell lost Elvis Presley.
I mean, I'll go to Vegas for other things, but I mean, I'll still go for a Taco Bell wedding. I don't care.
Right. So that was actually a lot of fun. And we're going to be recording the last episode 10, sometime this week with schedules and whatnot. Now, the newly married Michael Carls. We just got to figure out when to do it because I want all three of us to be on it. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about the show in my week. But that's it. That's everything. Links below. Check them out. We do some cool stuff, I think.
Sometimes, yeah, it's true.
Who wants to go first of that week?
Sparks?
Oh, okay. I'm almost done with Dune. I got this close, but I didn't. I had yesterday, and I could have read more, and I was like, I want to take the day to do other things, and so I didn't. Instead, I played an indie game that I've been waiting for on Game Pass, and I played Sable.
Nice.
Sable
Nice.
looks awesome.
Awesome.
And it plays good, and it's all about go find yourself, and that's the game. And I like it a lot, and it's very there is no one-to-one connection between it and Dune, but it does feel very similar to like stepping into the world of the Fremen. Being as entrenched in the book as I currently am, I'm like, there's a lot of vibes here that remind. Not again, they didn't take anything from it. I'm just saying, like, I can see the feelings that are similar about living in a desert. It's a desert setting, and that's the main connection. And it's like, there's a lot for me to chew on here that, like, just feels just as much as the Fremen. Like, they all have their own ways of doing this kind of stuff. Like, I dig it. I had fun. I think I was in there for about an hour and a half, and I enjoyed it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Sable's cool, actually. I watched another episode of Only Murders in the Building. That show's almost over for the season. It's real good. I really like it. I hope the season finale sticks the landing. Megan and I finished the first season of Scream, which I'd already seen, but Megan has now seen it and finished it. And we're going to watch the second season at some point. But she's not here, so it'll be a while. But that's good. There was this weird period of time where MTV made good television, and it was when Teen Wolf was coming out, and so was Scream. So, I don't know what's up, but for some reason, MTV had good TV.
I want to feel like they got like a new like president or something. You're like, we're changing gears, we're going hard.
Something definitely happened during that period of time where they're like, what if we just made like sincere television?
Yeah.
And everyone went, okay.
Like, we're already done with music.
It's like, hey, let's make something better than Jersey Shore. How about that?
It will never end baffling me that I say MTV's Teen Wolf show is one of my favorite shows I've ever seen. So, and then the last thing, I really didn't get to do a lot that I feel like mentioning on this podcast. There was a little bit of like, I'm watching some like old Halloween episodes of The Simpsons or whatever. I'm having like random Halloween things on the background. It's something I really need to dig into in this podcast. But the last thing is, yesterday, Ryan and I, inspired by something, I guess, decided to watch Aquaman King of Atlantis, the first episode of the animated trilogy on HBO Max.
Oh, yes, we did do that.
Radical.
I loved it.
Loved it.
100%.
Hilarious.
It's 45 minutes long, and about 30 minutes in, I'm like, okay, when's the animation going to stop being so good? When is it going to get lazy? And then it just becomes like a bigger and bigger action scene at the end, and I'm like, oh, this rules. It feels truly like something like Adult Swim would have made like 10 years ago. Like, it has people from Aqua Teen Hunger Force in it. Like, it feels like that.
Wow.
The faces are all disgusting and distorted like SpongeBob does. Like,
or they'll be beautiful, but
Or
they're
Yeah.
it's the kind of animation where
their faces
part
are
of the
always
comedy-
morphing.
part of the comedy is the anatomic inconsistency.
Mhm.
Like ooh, like really squinched in faces. Or
Like in the same shot, a character can have a gigantic head and then tiny hands and then normal.
yeah,
It's that kind of humor and comedy. When you see the animation, you know for an extended amount of time, you're like, oh, it's this. This is the thing they're doing.
Yeah.
I just found out that the voice of Aquaman is the dad from Shazam.
Do you know who the voice of Mara is?
Gillian Jacobs. I found that out too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was looking it up because of the thing we're going to talk about in the news today.
Yeah, Aquaman, King of Atlantis. It's a good time. I'm definitely going to watch those next 2 parts. 45 minutes, solid, entertaining animation.
True.
That's it.
All right.
Ryan,
I guess we'll just go.
Oh! I read a little bit of Venom, the comic. I've been catching up on that. I read a little bit more of Venom, probably like 2.5 issues when I had time at work. That's it.
Why don't you go, Ben?
So let's say, should we just go ahead and
Sure.
go down the line? Okay. So, yeah, Dune. A whole lot of Dune. I'm
Right.
well over halfway.
In the book too?
Actually, I am in book 2
Hell yeah.
of Dune. So I'm really liking it. But there's just one day where I'm like, all right, I know I need to finish this book, but by God, I need to play Metroid Dread. Kind of like him. Kind of like how he was like, I need a day for myself. I needed a day to just do something. So I played Metroid Dread, and holy shit, that game is bananas. It's amazing. I can tell you guys right now, it's my game of the year. As of right now, Metroid Dread's my game of the year. It is phenomenal. It's fantastic. Chef kiss.
How many new video
I was
games
gonna
have you played this
say,
year?
yeah. Then you.
I was gonna be like, what, 2?
Let's see, there's Knockout City. There's
game of the year right there, Knockout City for me. No, I'm kidding.
I mean, it could be for you.
You know what? Honestly, probably could be.
But yeah, so Metroid Dread is amazing, and I absolutely love it. And that's pretty much all I can say about that. There is one other thing I did this week that I was really happy to do. It was pure happenstance, and it was luck of the draw. I got to go see the Rolling Stones in concert at SoFi Stadium this week.
That's incredible.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, I got to see the Stones once before, way back in 2006. And this show was awesome. And as we all know, Charlie Wood, the drummer for the Stones, just passed away. What was it, like a month and a half ago?
Yeah, we talked about it when it happened.
Yeah, he passed. There was this great little tribute to him right before the show.
That's awesome.
And the guys talked about, after like their opening few songs, they said like, hey, it was great watching Charlie up there. We know he's watching us, and we're just gonna play loud and have a good time for Charlie. And everyone raised their glasses up to Charlie. The guy they had on drums was amazing.
Nice.
And I had a blast. And you can definitely tell the age is definitely catching up. Because when I first saw the Stones back in 06, Mick Jagger, he was running all over the stage. I mean, Keith Richards was still like slow, but he was kind of like, oh yeah, he was like moving. This time Keith Richards barely moved. Like he would go from one side of the stage to the other, maybe a little into, because they had a thing in the pit. But just listening to the music, and they played all the songs I was hoping to hear, it was awesome. And also I got to go to SoFi Stadium, which is the brand new football stadium they built in LA. And it is, I mean, parking is a pain in the ass, but that's LA for you. Other than that, the stadium is absolutely gorgeous. It is a beautiful venue. It's enclosed, but it's also
Do you know how many people were there? Did they say?
They didn't say.
Okay.
They didn't say how
Was
many.
it full?
Yeah, pretty full, yeah.
Okay.
Like once they got into the second half of the show, like you can tell like the people like came in like this is where the good stuff, because the first half was they played some of their hits, but they also played a lot of slower stuff. But then once they got into the second half, it was like all hits all the time.
All bangers.
Yeah, all
SoFi
bangers.
Stadium holds 70,000 people.
Damn, nice.
That's a lot.
That's
I wasn't fast enough, but I'm gonna do it anyway.
Oops, all the
Oh, I was like, what are you doing?
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, I was like, what? Why are we getting a countdown? What's happening?
It's kind of down 30 seconds, but yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, so seeing the Stones was awesome because this might be the last time I'll ever see the Rolling Stones in concert ever again. Because they're super old.
They're in their 70s, man. Yeah.
They're in their 80s.
Oh my god.
Mick Jagger's in his 80s, dude,
That's
and
insane.
he was still having a blast on the show. So
It's good.
it was, and the way I got the tickets was awesome. So I was able to. That was a fun time.
Playing music like that is the thing keeping them young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it most certainly is.
And the
real
souls
quick-
of young people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
real
that's
quickly. guess who's in the chat? Mag.
Hey, what's up, Mag?
Oh, Mag. Mag says only here for a bit until I'm back on the road to home after visiting Palm Springs.
Oh,
Fair enough.
Say
Fair
hi
enough.
to Andy Samberg for me.
You know, we're always here on the rewind.
Yeah,
That's true.
they are. So, but yeah, besides that, it was just reading a whole bunch of Dune, playing a little bit of Metroid Dread. I got to go see the Rolling Stones. And then earlier today, I went to Frankenstein's with these guys.
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
I didn't do that.
I didn't do that.
Yeah,
You did not do that.
you did not do that under sad circumstances, but that's pretty much my week. And I'm going to be definitely flying through Dune.
You have 7 days, Ben.
I have to fly through Dune.
I have like bad immediate short-term memory because you kind of like we did and you joined in. We all just did something right before the podcast, which is we watched the Halloween episode of The Movies That Made Us.
We did.
Which just came out on Netflix.
Oh.
They added a bunch of horror movie ones, which is great. And we watched the one about Halloween.
I'm gonna watch all of those.
That was great. We just did that. It was good.
We would have remembered it for
It's
next week.
a very nice, having seen like other Halloween documentary stuff before, it's a very nice different approach to that film.
Yeah, the movies that made us, and the toys that made us, always like to frame the thing that they're doing as a kind of an underdog. Like it was like tough for them to get in there and get out there.
That's definitely what that has. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just
He also-
think it's kind of nice narrative though.
Yeah, he also showed me an episode of the Goes Wrong show.
I did.
Which was
I showed Ben a spooky, funny first
Yeah.
episode of the Goes Wrong show.
Yeah, and
Nice.
it was hilarious, and it definitely made me reminisce and get flashbacks of when things went wrong when I was a theater kid in high school.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy! I mean, they didn't go wrong all the time, but things that went wrong, we talked about it a lot off stage.
Ryan, do you want to go next?
Okay. I also plunged through Dune. Having an audiobook really helps because at work I can listen to literally 7 hours of it in a day. So I'm almost done with it.
Audiobooks are so advantageous.
They are. And like truly like I've listened to audiobooks before, but like the last couple of years, like especially at work, like I can listen to almost an entire book in like half a day. Like it's incredible. It's truly great. I watched a couple horror movies, not as many as I'd want. Whenever we're talking about for the review.
Right.
I watched The Wailing, which is a 2016 South Korean horror movie. Nice shirt you made that we brought up, Brandon. Oops, all bangers, because I'm just watching nothing but incredible horror movies all month. Because like, oh, what's a great reviewed horror movie I haven't seen? I'm just gonna watch it because it's super easy. I live in the internet. So The Wailing, it's definitely one of the most atmospheric, tense horror movies I've ever seen. It's about a small town in Korea where just murder starts happening, and it's about a bumbling detective trying to figure shit out, but he's not good at his job. And it's really horrifying. There's a lot of twists and turns. It's really, really excellent. I also watched The Empty Man, which is a movie from last year that is already a cult classic because everyone who saw it hated it. But they're all wrong because that movie rules. The Empty Man is based off a Cullen Bunn comic. It is nothing like the comic whatsoever. If anything, it's a prequel to the comic, which is awesome because I checked out the comic after. And the comic starts at like a 10. So it was really cool to actually get like kind of like a smaller version of what the Empty Man becomes because like I like the small. Also, it's about a small town having bad shit happen to him, and a detective has to figure shit out. But it's in America this time. Really great Cthulhu stuff, like about cults and like the Empty Man. Like nothing is real, and like we don't believe in reality, so we're trying to destroy reality because why? Like nothing really matters. Like it's really heavy shit that I am super into. Did I do anything with Sparks that we haven't talked about?
I don't think so.
That's me.
We didn't have a lot of time together this week.
Nope. I'm done.
All right. I similarly don't have a lot, so
There was basement arcade spooky recordings. You'll see them,
But that's all your stuff.
That's a thing we did.
Yeah, that's not part of my free time.
I also read Dune, although it was really hard for me this week because I don't know what it is about my parents' place, but it makes me very sleepy. So I struggled to stay awake, not for reading Dune, but just in general. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it's because I keep it so damn cold. But I did finish Star Trek Lower Decks. Star Trek Lower Decks is over for the season. I'm going to have a far more in-depth talk about it on Fake Nerds Watch with Michael Carls and Cookie. But just kind of like brief thoughts. I think that show is excellent. The season raised the bar from that first season immensely. You're kind of laughing along with the show, being like, oh, this is the funny Star Trek. But then it's like, no, we're still Star Trek. We're doing Star Trek things. The end of the season blew me away with how bold it was. Loved it. I think that show's excellent.
Did they flee as well with how bold they were? You set it up. Don't be mad at me.
Yeah, I really like that show, and it's one of the best Star Trek shows, period, and definitely one of the best, but definitely the best Star Trek show on the air right now.
I love that. I love that a Rick and Morty-esque cartoon is the best thing Star Trek has out. I think that just shows like, man, that's really cool.
It's a little like yikes when it's got
It is
6 projects going.
That's what I mean.
Great.
Yeah.
It's great that it's that, but
that like you can still have a true Star Trek and not have it be the old school like 60s looking show.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like the Rick and Morty-esque way of going about it is the way to always do it, but there is a passion in that writer's room that I don't feel in the other Star Trek shows. Mike McMahon eats and breathes Star Trek. Like that man knows more about Star Trek than I think anybody on the planet. He's so passionate about that and constantly throwing in just random Easter eggs that just are in the background that you just aren't going to notice unless you're looking. And it's really, really great. And he makes all the difference, I think.
Love it.
I watched the 2018 film Halloween, which is
Nice.
Hollow Green, as I've learned that people call it.
The Hologreenverse.
I learned that this week.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why do they call it Halloween?
His name's David Gordon Green.
David Gordon Green.
Oh,
And because they're both titled Halloween, the fast way to
Green.
differentiate it is rather than saying Halloween 2018, Hollow Green.
Interesting.
That's why people call the fraction Hawkeye run Hawkeye. So because that's the run where it's
That's
called
very
Hawkeye.
good.
Yeah, that's how you talk about the good run.
That's very good.
Interesting. Halloween is a great movie. That's I really liked that movie when I saw it. My opinion has not changed. I think the movie's great. There's a review about it, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on it.
We talked about it.
We did.
Just actually 20 minutes ago, I finished Nightmare on Elm Street, the very first Nightmare on Elm Street film.
Excellent.
I'd never seen it before. It's really great.
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys are not surprised to hear me say that.
I've never seen it either, so I wouldn't know.
Um,
I'm gonna run away now. Bye.
You're Ben. You're not a horror guy.
So many films I got to put Ben through.
I love Freddy's New Nightmare. I saw that only having like pop culture knowledge of Nightmare on Elm Street. Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
New Nightmare, yeah.
I've had like pop culture.
Wait, you saw New Nightmare before the first movie?
Yeah, it was on TV, and I wanted to watch the Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and that was the one that was on.
You can.
We are. No, I
You
get it.
definitely
No,
can.
we get it. We're just different people that way.
Yeah.
I just would never do that.
I was a different person when I was a kid. Nowadays, I wouldn't do that.
Gotcha.
But it was on TV, and I was flipping through the TV channels. Remember all those movie channels?
Yeah, those are the days.
Yeah. Anyway, so I don't think it is. I think it has aged really well, despite kind of the horror of it aging not as well as horror movies from that time period aren't often scary to people who grew up in this era. But I think the movie is really awesome. Still, it really holds up. Wes Craven is such a I like him from Scream anyway, but like I seeing that kind of early imagination form that would form what would go on to be Scream is really cool. I think the movie's great.
Yeah, you should definitely soon pick up 3 because that's a direct follow-up. And Wes Craven, while he didn't direct it, he had his hands on that one.
He didn't come back to direct any of them except for New Nightmare, right?
That's correct. But the only one he came back in any capacity on that wasn't directing was Dream Warriors. And so Dream Warriors in many ways is seen as a true follow-up to the first one. And when you watch it, you'd see why.
And I'd argue it's the best one.
I would make that argument too.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch probably more of them because of how much I like this one. I know that there's always a drop of quality like later era slasher films, but I still want to see more of it. And definitely 3, but you guys have been talking about 3 for years, and I'm very very interested in it.
It's very much like I did this with Megan too because I wanted her to have a more pure experience. We went to 3, and we'll go back to 2. Because 2 is not at all referenced in 3. It doesn't connective tissue. It barely even references the first film, to be honest. It more or less stands on its own. And it's not that like, oh, it's a bad one or anything. It's actually a very interesting film in many ways because it's exploring like repressing your homosexuality using Freddy Krueger as the representation of that. And that's really interesting and everything. And it makes some bold choices, some of them and some of them not. But a purer experience is going from 1 to 3. And then 2, you could watch it later. It affects nothing to just go back to 2 at a later date.
Okay. I might do that then. All right, then the final thing I want to talk about is I rewatched Independence Day Resurgence, the second Independence Day from Roland Emmerich. I went up to Monterey to spend time with my dad while my mom was away. He likes kind of big sci-fi movies, so I always, whenever we're there, I want to watch it with him because that's kind of how we connect. Especially now that he can read the subtitles. That movie is not a good movie. It pales in comparison to the first film, which is still a classic to this day. But it's a lot of fun. And there is an amount of passion that I respond to with Roland Emmerich in that film. He's clearly very interested in building out the world. And I do think he does it in interesting ways. But the script does no favors. It is really campy. But you just kind of have a blast with it. And by the end of the film, you're just laughing and cheering. And there's some stupid lines. And Jeff Goldblum and Brent Spiner are the only two actors who know what movie they're in.
The thing I remember, like it is big dumb fun, but like the thing for me that doesn't work, it's most of the characters suck.
Yes, the main characters.
Movie, like it's hard for me. Like I like Jeff Goldblum is not enough of a draw for me to want to rewatch that entire movie just for him. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I totally understand it, and it's been years since I've seen it. In fairness,
tangentially, it just made me think of it. I'm always kind of stunned we've never gone back to Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's just sitting there.
I got a poster on my wall, man. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was a big hit for Burton.
It really wasn't at the time, but like that had such
that needs to be like a TV show or something. Yeah.
There's such a potential for like you to.
There's a lot of comic books,
and there's no rules. You could just come back in and do whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to connect to that original film. Like you can literally just go back and do a Mars Attacks movie and
just
make it whatever you want.
Yeah.
That
movie's too good.
I remember just everyone in my school talking about Mars Attacks when that came out. That was my brother's favorite movie at the time.
It was wild. It was wild when I saw it in theaters. Freaked me out.
Yo, man, Jack Nicholson plays like 3 characters. That
I very specifically. I think this is one of the first times I was really scared in a movie theater. And I don't know what it was about the visuals of this, but the anatomy scene, they do a dissection of one of the Martians, and it really freaked me out in
that movie.
Movie theater.
It's PG-13, but it has some like pretty good like body horror stuff.
Yeah, and the Martians are freaky. Yeah. Like they are freaky.
No, you know what freaked me out was when we found out that they cut the woman's head off and put her on
Sarah Jessica Parker on a dog.
Yeah,
bro, I watched that movie so much.
One of my favorite stories in that whole thing is Ving Rhames on his mission to get back to his lady.
Man. That's a
he's on his mission to get back to his lady and his kids.
Because his kids are on the East Coast and he's working in Las Vegas. Oh, I remember that.
Mars Attacks 2 Resurgence.
I remember that. That was
I'm glad my Independence Day talk spawned into a much better movie. But there, as to Ryan's point, the main trio of kids are not good because they, for many reasons, but one of the big ones is they lack the charisma of Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum. They were so charismatic as leads together in that first film and almost carry the movie. These kids are not those actors. It's Liam Hemsworth. Come on. He's not even the best Hemsworth.
Yeah.
He's not even the second best Hemsworth.
Not the second best Hemsworth.
Shots fired.
Too many Hemsworths.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, but it's a good time. You get some time from the last time you saw it. It's kind of a fun time that you can just enjoy. And I'm much in the same way that I'm bummed we never got the third of the Titans film. I'm just kind of bummed we didn't get the third Independence Day film because that, like, taking Earth to interstellar space and fighting a galactic war, I'm here for that. That sounds like a blast.
Yeah. I can't even imagine what that movie would be, but the studio was like, no way, Jose.
Right. The movie bombed. So they were like, no, we're not doing
you
that.
want double the budget and just go to space? No, sorry, Roland.
Yeah. It's, I like big, sometimes you just want a big, dumb space movie.
Oh, yeah.
All right. But that's my week. Should we get into our news then?
Ready
for
it?
Sounds good. Wow. That was breezy.
That was
good. I love it.
Breezy, beautiful cover girl.
Tangented about Mars Attacks, like wild.
We did.
Hold on.
He was literally under 30 minutes.
Wrong. Hold on.
You're on today, buddy.
Oh, wow. How much pain drugs have you taken?
Not as many as you would expect from what just happened. Okay. So we got some sad news up top. Andrew Yonchus who was a longtime colorist for Marvel, passed away this week actually last month. We just found out about this month, but last month he passed away at the age of 77. Legendary Marvel colorist, but also a bit that I found interesting is he was a founding member of the Illegitimate Sons of Superman, which was a group that was comprised of the second generation comic book creators. So first generation was Jack Kirby, Stan Lee. Second generation was this guy, because they grew up with comic books. They were the first generation to grow up with comic books. I just thought that was really interesting.
That's cool.
I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
But yeah, so sad passings.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Did you guys know that Superman creator Jerry Siegel worked on the X-Men?
He what?
I didn't.
You learn something new every day.
Fake Nerd Podcast. You learn something new every day.
Yep.
All right, so we had some miscellaneous news. Probably the big thing that happened this week is Deadline ran with a stupid rumor that Will Poulter has been cast as Adam Warlock. Ridiculous.
A ridiculous rumor.
Except James Gunn was like, normally I squash these, so welcome to the cast. I think that
there's one specific picture, like, because every news site uses a different picture of this actor, but there's one that I saw where he's fit and he has his long hair, and I'm like, he's already ready. He's been preparing for this already.
I like the actor a lot.
I do too, and he is not your typical choice for this role, and that's what the Guardians movies does. I think that's what a lot of Marvel movies do. Like, they cast sometimes untraditional people. When you think of Adam Warlock, he's Space Jesus. That's who he is. He's Space Jesus. But in Guardians of the Galaxy by James Gunn, he could be literally anyone.
Knowing he cast Will Poulter, I feel like we're going for something where he's like, I'm the ultimate being.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna be so
I'm the best.
smug and
He went from you guys are getting paid to let's go, bitches.
Yeah, I trust James Gunn with everything. So, like, I saw people like, how could they do this? I'm like, yeah, because you've hated every other Marvel movie casting, right, guys? Like, come on, give me a break.
I mean, look what he did to Star-Lord.
Exactly.
No, Chris Pratt was frumpy Chris Pratt. Everyone who's been in a Marvel movie has gotten so attractive.
Well, I mean, it helps because millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I
I really like Will Poulter. He's been going in a more dramatic direction these last couple of years, but his comedy is really great. So, I think James Gunn likes to work with comedians and kind of bring more out of them.
Yeah, they're well-rounded actors. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a perfect choice for James Gunn.
Yeah, he's got good chops.
He does.
I like his chops.
Kind of keeping it in with the MCU, there is some news about Eternals and Spider-Man Homecoming, Spider-Man No Way Home, that I thought would be interesting to talk about.
Real quickly, because I didn't want to forget. Two things I don't think are in the news. Did we talk about, did you put in the stuff about the IOTS?
Oh, that just happened today? No, I didn't. I forgot.
Okay, so yesterday.
Yesterday.
An agreement was reached. For the moment, no strike.
Okay.
It needs to be ratified because the strike was going to happen tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
They need to approve it and go through with it, and it's likely it might need renegotiating down the line.
It's
but
not.
for now,
From what I've said, I don't work in a business. From what I've seen, this isn't the best option, but it's considerably better. But they want more.
It's step one
Yes.
forward, and it's preventing a strike. But the implication is that the negotiations are going to continue for more of what they're asking for. This is just sidestepping the immediate strike.
Okay.
As soon as this happened, I texted a friend of mine who works in the IOTC union because he works on he works on a bunch of TV sets and whatnot. And I asked him about it, and he said, it's not what we were asking for, and honestly, it's not even close. But we're gonna vote on it in a couple of days. So if they vote obviously no, then they go back to the negotiating table.
Right.
You got to start somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all, I think I speak for all of us when we all stand for IOTC. So
yes, absolutely. I'm glad that things seem to be moving at least in a mostly positive direction.
Even if it's crawling there.
Yeah, crawling.
All right, so there were some MCU kind of things came out about Spider-Man No Way Home and Eternals. I thought could be fun to talk about.
That was the other reason why I thought of the fact that there was news things. Real quick, also Hawkeye. We now know 2 episodes for its premiere. Which makes a ton of sense given that Boba Fett is dropping the end of December.
Yeah,
and I was like, "There's no way that's
they'll
one episode
overlap.
a week of Hawkeye because they're not going to overlap." So
yeah,
it now makes sense. 2 episodes of Hawkeye, which is very interesting They did that with WandaVision, but that made more sense to me because it was the shorter sitcom
Yeah.
show you had to sell us on the concept of.
Yeah, this is like a 45+ minute show.
Yeah, this is an interesting.
It's gonna be like a movie pilot.
We also got our first look at Linda Cardellini in the new.
They got her.
Thank goodness.
They did get her.
Got her. Thank you, Linda.
We heard initially that they didn't.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was really happy to see her in the trailer.
To be fair, like it seems like obviously like they're apart, so they could have like not finished filming her stuff yet. And then like the one scene she's in like in her own house.
It looks like he took the kids for a thing to New York.
Yeah.
And she was supposed to meet them. Things went wrong, so he had to send the kids back.
Yeah. I'm glad she's there though.
Got to fight some vampire. Oh, what
The
they're
bros.
called?
They're tracksuit mafia.
Gotta fight some dudes.
Tracksuit mafia Draculas, but they're not actually Draculas.
Gotta fight some dudes.
That's what they call them.
All right. And other MCU news then. The Eternals was revealed. We heard that the Eternals are now from a planet called Olympia, who go around fighting the deviants across the galaxy. So quite a change.
Yeah, hell yeah. Let's make this whole team boring. Hell yeah, baby. I love it.
Yeah. I thought you'd have some words.
Listen, like I'm not a big Eternals fan, but like this is a change that just there's no reason to do this. If you're gonna do the Eternal stuff, just like do what Kirby was doing. Like this makes it just feel super lame and like, oh, we're just here to fight bad guys, and like that's not what they're about at all.
I think it's the disheartening notion of everyone kind of comic fans looking to Eternals as we're finally going like big cosmic, and they're like, well, we're going sort of.
Yeah.
We're gonna pull back a little bit on your like we're going big cosmic concepts because we're not, which is really weird at a time when we've just had the Watcher stuff happen.
Yeah.
On What If.
And again, like they showed, like,
but that is the like overall vibe. It's just like, well, we're not gonna get too crazy, y'all.
Yeah. With this news, and then they released a 1-minute clip. My excitement has diminished greatly. I'm not gonna lie. I still am excited, but like, maybe it's because I'm not a huge Eternals fan in the first place, but like. Man, that action scene was so flat, you guys. Oh my god!
I didn't watch it.
Oh man, like if that's what the action's gonna look like, then it can have $1 billion in the world. It's not gonna help it. Like,
interesting.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Eternals. This also removes their connection to Thanos kind of permanently.
Yep.
I kind of thought they might because Thanos is. We're led to believe he's just an alien from a different planet. But yeah, this kind of like squashes that.
And honestly, they could have like Thanos is gone. They don't need to touch Thanos. They could have still done the original Eternals deviant stuff and just not talk about Thanos because you don't need to. Like it just seems like not that the Eternals is complicated, but they're under complicating it. So like to save the audience because like they don't think we can handle it. And I'm like, you got to give your audience more credit, guys. Like we're not dumb.
The other big change is about the deviants.
Chloe Zhao is out there talking like a big game about what the emotional impact of the film is going to be, and I'm like, boy, I really hope you're right.
I really want to believe it too. We'll see. Yeah.
So another big change. They changed the deviants. The deviants are now a parasitic alien species who go from planet to planet, killing the apex predators of the planet and taking their characteristics.
Oh, so is that how the dinosaurs died?
Yeah.
I was kidding.
Well, but maybe. So like the thing about the Eternals that is cool. It's like the Eternals and the Deviants, like they're both made from the same people, but the Deviants are ugly, so they're like, people don't like them. So like they become monsters because people treat them like monsters. But in here, it's just like no, they're just monsters. And I'm like, I really hope they explore that shit because like Crow is the main villain. Crow is so cool in this Eternals comic by Kieran Gillen right now. I'm like, God, if they're just gonna like
supposedly played by Dan Stevens.
Played by Dan Stevens, yeah. Like if they're really gonna simplify all this stuff, I'm like, then why did you even make this movie? Like, I'm still excited, but like, yeah.
When they sold us Eternals, we kind of took that as a sign of like, oh, you're ready to go bold, and they were like, okay, but not that bold.
Yeah. And again, like it is still like big in scope, like 7,000 years, like that is still pre everything MCU. But
we still see pretty good Celestials.
100%, yeah. I just feel like
Thanos should have been
the scope that I'm expecting is now not going to be there.
Right.
Which I got Doom coming out, so I'm fine.
That's true.
Oh, I thought you said Doom. I'm like, hold up, what?
Doom 4. Yeah.
All right, and then kind of the other thing was about Spider-Man No Way Home. Tom Holland said that they treated Spider-Man No Way Home as the end of the Homecoming franchise, and whatever comes next will be something else.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. You finish
makes sense, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
There is a sense that what he said to me anyway, that negotiations are in talks right now, because he's still got one more MCU movie, right? What was the one? Doctor Strange.
I thought that was
the one?
true. I thought that was true, but a lot of places are saying this is the last movie in this contract.
Interesting. Yeah. I thought when they renewed it, they were like one more and then another appearance. Could it have been Endgame? Could they have counted Endgame?
No, because that deal was made after Far From Home was coming out.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, like this is the end of like the story that's being told in the MCU. Mm-hmm. Like whatever happens with Sony's Venom verse, there's no way to know. Just no way to know. I can't speculate because it's impossible to tell.
I'm not saying that we're losing Spider-Man. I think what he's talking about was very telling of like, we're talking about keep going. Like Sony and Marvel are still considering what the next trilogy could be. Like if we hear about another deal, it would be with another trilogy in mind, and whatever that would be because he'd be older.
Yeah, I also think because he's talking about it in tandem with like, I think if there is another with Tom Holland, John Watts is not part of it anymore.
No, he's doing
this is the end of John Watts and Tom Holland working on Spider-Man. This is the end of the Home trilogy. I don't think they'd carry over that motif anymore.
Yeah.
I think it could mean that kind of stuff. But Ryan's right. Like, it's just too early to know until we see the movie.
Yeah. I mean, like, we're getting more Spider-Man no matter what. So, like, I'll see that in 2 years. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Speaking of David Gordon Green, he is working on a Disneyland origin story. David Gordon Green is directing a movie about Walt Disney's real-life journey to building Disney World.
Didn't we get that already?
No.
Oh, Saving Mr. Banks?
I don't know.
That was Mary Poppins. That doesn't count.
Yeah. That's a good movie.
It is.
Oh, boy. I forgot about this guy's name. Shit. Evan Spitiotopoulos.
Okay.
Spitiotopoulos is scripting the movie. You guys will probably know him best from Tarzan 2, Cinderella 3, the Rock Hercules movie, the 2017 Beauty and the Beast, and this year's Snake Eyes.
Wow.
Ooh.
Man,
that's a lot of...
Talk about a track record.
Talk about the opposite of all bangers.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Oh, it's all shit. No disrespect, sir. You probably make a lot of money.
Cinderella's 3 is pretty good.
Yeah, that was like, I heard that was the best of the Disney sequels. So, I mean,
no, that's still Lion King 2. I'll fight you on that.
You got to fight him to the screen.
He can't fight you. He's only heard it. He's just regurgitating his other people's opinions. I mean, cool. Like, I'll watch a movie about Disneyland's origin. I feel like there's like 80 documentaries covering it in different ways. I don't know like how much we need.
Yeah, but not by having Disney's influence to make sure it's a perfect Disney representation.
Well, I'll tell you right now, like, I think what would be the most interesting thing is if it was from the perspective of his brother.
Yeah, if it was from Roy's perspective, that would be a little more interesting.
Or his daughter who wanted to give away all their money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because the store, like, you go to Disneyland, you go inside the Emporium or in the gift shops, you find the books. There's like 3 books with the story of how Disneyland started, and then you got the thing in Main Street where they replay that 50th anniversary video with Steve Martin and Donald Duck the whole time.
Yeah.
That's true.
So there are 3 docuseries on Disney Plus that came out in the last 2 years about the origins of Disneyland.
There you go.
I think I'm curious if a lot of like they've wanted to get a movie about Walt out for a while, and I wonder if this is how they're kind of like backdooring a way into like finally getting that out. Because like for a long time, everyone knows it was going to be Ryan Gosling playing for a chunk of time that passed, which I think would be really interesting. It's honestly kind of shocking to me that Disney hasn't made a movie that's just literally about Walt. But I'm open to it. We'll see.
I mean, I like the history of Disneyland. I love studying the history of Disneyland, and I mean, I'm probably gonna go see this no matter what. So, I mean, cool. I didn't need it, but I'm like, yeah.
I just hope it does something with it that's like not something you can get from all those documentaries.
Yeah, I kind of hope that too. Like if it's from Roy's perspective, that'd be really cool.
If it incorporates a lot more of what you see, so like because there's the Walt Disney Family Museum up in San Francisco, and while that has a lot of like Disney animation stuff and Disneyland stuff, that's a part of it. a whole almost 2/3 of that museum is just about the family. It
Okay.
really is the Walt Disney Family Museum, and it's about like how Walt and Roy were affected by their family lives, the hardships they faced, the things that they did that were so impressive that led to the stuff of Disney.
Yeah.
And if you can bring a lot more of that, which isn't as deeply entrenched in the documentaries, like I know way more about that stuff from visiting that museum than I do from those documentaries. If that kind of stuff goes in here, great.
I kind of want to
I
see.
doubt it too. But
All right, one last small tangent. I would like to see if this movie does happen, or obviously this movie is happening, but if it is from the perspective of Roy, I would like to see Roy at his desk, just like, oh, great. And then Walt comes like, Roy, I got an idea. No. It's like, hear me, but hear me out. And then that's the idea for Disneyland.
All right. So we'll see. David Gordon Green is an interesting choice already, and then you got this guy, Evan.
Is he
last name.
making this before or after that Exorcist trilogy?
Oh, that's a good question.
Probably before. I bet it's a palate cleanser for Halloween.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is after. I wouldn't be surprised if this is long in the tooth.
Yeah.
One of those Disney projects where they're like, we want this, and it's not necessarily.
He's still got to make Halloween first.
It's still not necessarily close.
Yeah, he's got to make that Halloween movie.
There's
first.
a lot of Disney things that have been on the docket that have been pushed back for eternity. That Peter Pan movie was known about for forever.
There's a Peter Pan movie?
Yep.
Yeah, that's coming out.
Huh.
There, the Jon Favreau film was one of those too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got a real quickly. I forgot something about my week that I wanted to bring up. I just got a tweet notification from a thread that's going on right now where I tagged Mark Verheiden, which was the writer we've talked about him before on the book club. I just found out he was a showrunner for seasons 2, 3, and 4 of Battlestar Galactica. So I tweeted about that. Wow, that was so cool. And then he tweeted back at me, and I'm like, oh my god. And then Jane Espenson tweeted back at me, and I'm like, oh my god.
I also forgot what I did this week. I finished all of Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't need to talk about it.
We were at Franco's today. He's like trying to find Demon Slayer merch for a costume.
I talked about it before, but Battlestar Galactica is a huge show for me. I love that show so much. It's really important to me. So getting just all these notifications from these writers was fantastic.
You didn't watch Swamp Thing, right?
Not yet.
Well, he worked on it, so you should watch it.
I definitely want to. I'm gonna wait till after I'm done with Doom Patrol because I want to get through that, and then I'll start Swamp Thing.
Sure.
All right, Cowboy Bebop. Netflix has secured the rights to stream the anime in both its classic dub and sub formats.
Beautiful.
So they're not redubbing it.
Awesome.
That would be wildly stupid.
Yep. We're gonna replace oh crap. No.
Steve Bloom.
Thank you.
I even call Evangelion's questionable, but I wouldn't call it as blatantly stupid as Cowboy Bebop being recast for the dub would be. Like that's just foolish.
Yeah. But the original voice cast of the Japanese version will dub the new live action show in Japan.
Nice.
As they should.
That's awesome. That's truly cool because all those actors are now older too.
Yeah.
So that's so cool.
It's kind of like how when we watch the live action, the Japanese live action Death Note movies, the dub actors from the show from the anime dubbed the characters in the live action movies.
Japan is very good about keeping their anime voice actors for as long as they can on the characters. I mean, the lady playing Goku,
she's like
forever.
Wait, how old is she again?
Very
old enough.
I'll look it up while we're.
She's older than Goku at this point.
I thought she was. Didn't we say she was like 80?
I'm sure she's in her 80s.
That's crazy.
That'd be nuts if she was.
All right. While Sparks is looking that up, we'll
Masako Nazawa is 84 years old. She will be 85 October 25th this year.
She's still Goku?
What? She's still Goku.
Goku is 45 now canonically?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Holy shit. I don't even think that because we've gone backwards.
That's true, we have.
Anything has just gotten younger and hotter.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Well, hold on. This ain't GT.
I'm just saying, when he's like Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, like that's you can't get any. You have 12-pack abs.
All right. Well, this happened today that I didn't miss. Why the Last Man was canceled.
Oh, I missed this.
Whoa,
Yep.
what?
Eliza Clark, the showrunner, put on Twitter a really great response of like, we're trying to find a home for the show because this is a very diverse group of people, and we want to continue to make this show that's not the comic. but not in a negative way. Just like, you know, we want to do things better than that comic did,
Right.
but without actually saying that.
Right.
But like, we believe in this show so much, and I know I like that first episode, but we haven't continued.
Yeah,
I
actually got Fanny onto it.
beautiful.
She's been watching it.
Yeah,
She
I've been
really,
wanting to get Megan on it, but Megan wants to do like a Halloween centric thing.
Well, now we only have one season, so
Yeah.
hey man, the thing is, it was a extremely expensive show, and then the pandemic really effed it over.
oh yeah. Makes sense.
So like,
it's just so bold to. It feels so crazy to have put as long a development into that show and not give it
Yeah.
a little more breathing
I'm
room.
sure like the first couple episodes, like the ratings were just horrible. And they're like, there's no, we cannot afford to do another season of this. Like, it's nobody was watching it. It sucks.
I mean, it was, to be fair, a holdover from the Fox deal with Disney.
Yeah.
That's also true. Yeah. Maybe the people upstairs are like, oh yeah, we don't even care anymore. Yeah.
Right. It could be that. They just buried it on Hulu.
Yeah. Because again, if it was doing
Well, no,
gangbusters,
it's still on FX, right? It still airs on FX because FX is on Hulu.
Mhm.
That's part of the
Right.
but it's still airing on TV on FX.
Right. Yeah, I think so. If FX is still a channel, then yes.
it is.
FX is still a channel.
Yeah.
I do
So
remember.
people who have
I
cable
think
can still watch it.
I do think they're going to sundown FX soon. I think I heard that somewhere, but I don't know when.
That would be a kind of insane move.
They have
I don't-
FX and then FXX as well. They have so many. Like,
Yeah,
it's
they
always
do.
sunny.
Well,
It's
no,
always sunny.
the-
on FX.
The thing that I read was Disney wants to just keep FX exclusively on Hulu, so that would be like a Hulu channel afterwards.
I don't like no. I mean, okay.
I mean,
if
I
all
don't. I'm
if all
just
the
explaining the
content's
news.
All the content's
True, if
there.
the content's there, then great. But FX has some amazing television shows.
It's Always Sunny is my favorite show.
Yeah, Always Sunny, Sons of Anarchy.
Well, all those things would still be being made. They'd just be made exclusive
Hulu.
for Hulu.
True.
And
It's just like the DC shows now are HBO Max
I
shows.
mean, it's inevitability.
Yeah.
Yes, but I feel like FX is one of those channels that gets a lot of at the actual.
They're doing
cable
Reservation
viewing,
Dogs.
Where it gets a lot of that cable viewing audience that
What we do in the
most
shadows.
channels don't. There's a
Yeah.
lot of other channels that
FX
like,
is-
those can be sundowned, and this maybe
Yeah.
shouldn't be.
I would be
Anyway.
dreadfully sad.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. I mean, if they
I
send
might
down
even be
FX,
wrong.
No, I know. Yeah, I don't even want to think of that's awful.
I mean, if they send down FX, bummer. But as long as they keep putting the shows on Hulu, because I don't have cable anymore, but I still watch What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu.
Yeah, yeah.
I can still
Yeah,
catch up.
that's
on
why. That's
They're
why.
not just going to throw some of those shows under the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
I heard that's why Aliens is exclusive to Hulu. So like FX on Hulu, but like just on Hulu.
it. Okay.
mm,
All right, we could be wrong. Who knows?
time will tell.
Yeah.
All right. Some comic book news. Actually, a lot of really interesting things come out from DC Comics. The solicitations dropped this week, but I want to talk about Diamond Comics, which has been struggling, obviously, since they've lost their main money makers.
Good.
Although Penguin Random House is screwing over comic book stores.
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, their distribution methods are horrible, and books are just being damaged left and right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Insert "You Are the Chosen One" meme here.
Yeah,
If you had told me which one would be the best, Lunar or Penguin Random House, I would have told you Penguin.
Yeah.
I mean, Lunar is. I can't believe that's done so well.
yeah. Let's hope
They
enough.
have more to prove.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
Hopefully it fixes itself. I know my heart goes out to the comic book stores dealing with their horrible packaging. But Diamond, however, has acquired CGA, which is CGC's the main grading company for comic books. That's their competitor.
Ooh, not anymore.
Right. So Diamond has bought CGA, which includes all the other grading services
I
that
mean,
they do.
This makes sense for them because like if they're losing comic books, like you can still grade them and like that'll get you a ton of money.
Yeah.
So like because people love grading comics. So like
I definitely want to send my comic to be graded to the people who ship notoriously badly.
yeah. It is kind of
Well, even now with the it's probably even worse now because you send your comic. Because Brian, how long did it take for you to get first appearance Spider-Gwen back from being graded?
Oh, it was like half a year.
Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be like probably a year and a half now because
Yeah.
since the pandemic, people have been.
It's been worse. Yeah.
Well, not just that, just this new boom of people saying in Pokemon cards and the comic books. If people don't
Well,
see
and
their stuff for a month and a half,
and the supply chain's a mess.
and the supply chain,
Yeah.
that's another big reason the supply chain sucks.
Okay. Let's go.
Somebody needs to give a shit about the postal service.
Don't you freaking dare!
No. I'm saying that the head of our government.
Oh,
should
yeah,
give a shit about
yeah.
the postal service.
Yeah. They should.
Ben was like, "Don't you care about my job? Don't you do it?"
What are you talking about? I don't work there.
All right. Some comic book news. Marvel announced X-Men Legends number 12 will be coming out in February, and we'll see the return of Chris Claremont
Who's that?
to the X-Men, with Scott Eaton doing art on a prequel to their to the Excalibur run that Claremont did.
This is probably going to be about Destiny and Mystique. Them finally confirming that Rogue and Nightcrawler are their kids, because they like
they're all in this. They're all in this description.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this book. So is every X-Men fan on the effing planet. Because Papa Chris is coming back. Yeah, X-Men Legends has been really cool. I haven't read all of them. But it's like old school writers like Fabian Nicieza and some of those older guys like coming back to do stories from the 90s and just telling like the next chapter just 25 years later. This is great because like, Destiny and Mystique and all that shit's really hot right now. So Papa Chris is coming back to like, yeah, you guys like my shit? Let me work it in for you. And I'm like, oh, this is so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that is cool.
All right. Now the promised Batman. DC stuff. You guys really like it when, just so I know, you guys really like it when they do like origin stories for Batman. There's like 3 out right now.
Listen, it depends. I bought 2 Batman books last week. They were pretty good. So
Was one of them the Imposter?
The Imposter, yeah. That looks just like the trailer. Just watch, my guy.
Oh yeah, I heard really great things about that. I haven't been to the store yet, but it's on my list.
If the story's good, I give a shit.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Chip Zdarsky is taking a crack at it.
Damn it!
With Batman the Knight. He's doing this with Carmine D. Domenico.
You're fine.
All right. I apologize. It's going to be a 10-issue limited series, and we'll see the origin of Batman and his never-ending fight against crime in Gotham City. I read that wrong. Sorry. Well, it's modern mythology. But what of the story in between? How did an angry, damaged young man grow into the most accomplished detective and crime fighter the world has ever known? How did the Dark Knight begin?
He went to ninja school.
So, like, obviously, this sounds extremely generic. I'm a free subscriber of Chip Zdarsky's newsletter. This is the most excited comic book he's ever written. He is over the moon. He's after Devil's Reign. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to go to DC more, because his DC stuff is really great. But like, that dude loves Batman. And he said the first issue of this book is the best thing he's ever written. So I'm going to buy it no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I trust Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
That dude has never written a bad comic. I've never read a bad Chip Zdarsky comic.
I'll spend a Lotsky for Zdarsky.
That's it.
That's a good one.
I'll definitely give it the first issue. Like, it sounds like, yeah, what if Batman's origin? I'm like, but again, like, you do it different. You give it a different style, different flavor. You give it Zdarsky. Like, I'll buy it.
Like on one hand, the same Batman story we've known for years, but on the other hand, just shut up. But on the other hand, Chip friggin' Zdarsky.
Well, how many Batman comics? There's obviously like year one, but like where he is still very, very young and he is not truly Batman. There aren't that many. The last 10 years of Batman comics, there's like
that, I think it's more that people feel like it's been done so much.
Oh no,
through,
I
like,
agree.
Through other media, so they're like, oh, it's everywhere. And
No,
there's also been there are all like 2 miniseries out right now that are dealing with it. So.
Sure.
No, I get it. Batman sells, but writers sell more for me. So
I mean, yeah, this is just the premise of the writer is the thing that's going to get me to chip in on this one.
And the artist is tremendous. They've done work with Zdarsky before. I forget which book it was, but tremendous artist.
It wasn't Fantastic Four X-Men, right?
I don't think so.
Okay,
it might be.
Yeah. Look, I love Chip Zdarsky as well. I'd love it if he went to DC. That'd be great. They need some fresh blood. Batman Superman looks like it's going to be relaunched. We don't know what title it's going to get. This is after Jane Yang's run has ended. In Detective Comics 1050, Mark Waid will team up with Dan Mora to write a Batman Superman story that will spin off into a series.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Good. I'm glad it's a spinning off and Mark Waid isn't taking over Detective Comics, because that'd be rude to Marika Tamaki, who's doing that book right now.
Right.
Yeah. And less straight white dudes writing comics, the better, in my opinion. Not that Mark Waid's bad.
Oh, right. And I love Dan Mora, too. So seeing him finally be able to draw Superman in a series is going to be really great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the outfits are, like, very classic, like, old school. Like, big smiling Superman, like Keaton-looking Batman. Like, I'm into it.
Yeah. Dan Mora's got a variant for Dark Knights of Steel. Really want it. It looks really good.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Dark Knights of Steel.
Yeah.
When's that come out?
Next month?
Next month?
I think so.
Okay, cool.
Well, Ram V had actually quite a bit of news this week.
Okay.
He is leaving Catwoman at the issue 38, and Teenie Howard and Nico Leon are going to be taking over the series at issue 39.
I picked up Catwoman from issue 1 because of Ram V, and then I'm really sad to hear him go because I love Catwoman, which we'll definitely talk about later. And I was like, man, who are they gonna get? And they get Teenie Howard, and I'm like,
Well,
bro, you're getting a girl to write Catwoman. Then like, thank you. Like, who's better than Ram V, an actual lady doing it? Hey guys, you should read Catwoman. It's real good.
Sparks, you were going to say something?
No, I was just gonna say, and they get Teenie Howard, and that'll keep you.
I like Teenie Howard's Excalibur. That's all I can say about Teenie Howard. That's all I read of hers.
Obviously, we knew his Swamp Thing is coming to an end, so that's not really news. But what is a news is that January will also see the end of his Justice League Dark run.
Mhm.
He does say that DC has plans to keep the title going in some way, but it won't be with him. He was pretty clear about that.
Season 2 of Swamp Thing is definitely going to happen, though. That book is doing very well.
Yeah. I believe it. A lot of people are speculating that he's going to start writing more for Marvel.
I mean, he's doing Venom. He hasn't signed any exclusive contracts, and like guys like him and Zdarsky and like Teenie Howard, like they're doing a bunch of stuff on both sides.
Mhm.
So like, it's like cross the streams. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah. And Ramby's pretty great. I'm choking a little bit. Got it. Ramby's pretty great.
The Savage Shores is the best comic to come out in a couple years, in my opinion.
The Super Sons may have ended again with its third miniseries, but Superman and Robin special will be coming out, this time being about the current day Superman and Robin, John Kent, I should say, from Peter J. Tomasi and Victor Bogdanovic.
Well, one of those is pretty cool.
Which one?
I have to say, I am really happy.
Tomasi.
I have to say, I am really happy that Tomasi's had so much opportunity post Bendis messing with John Kent to go back and still write young John Kent.
Yeah.
I'm glad that has existed. And I'm glad that he'll now get to like play in the space with current John Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah. As of now, it's only a one shot. I'm really excited for this, though. I love Super Sons. My issue, as I've mentioned before, with Bendis's John Kent wasn't necessarily that he aged him up. It was that he aged him up and didn't give him a personality.
Are you reading Superman, Son of Kal-El?
Something I was about to say is that Tom Taylor has given him back that personality, and I'm really happy because I read I forgot to mention about it, but I read the issues, I think the first 2 issues this week because of something that happened in the news.
I was hoping you would.
Yeah. I've had him for a while. I just haven't had a chance to read them.
Yep.
But yeah, so Tom Taylor has given back his personality, and so I'm really happy that Peter Tomasi kind of feels comfortable enough to play with older John Kent to do that.
He also doesn't have that scar anymore, which I'm really happy about.
Oh, that's right. He had a scar.
Yeah.
What's wrong with scars?
Well,
what's wrong with scars? No, I'm really asking.
Nothing is wrong with scars. I just did not like that Superboy / John Kent had a scar.
I just forgot he had it.
Do you not like my scar that I have, Ben? Does that make me a defaulted person? Or scar is not human?
I have a scar. Someone's braces cut me.
I thought that was very weird.
All right. Also, what happened this week, something that I think I wanted to mention is that John Kent was revealed that in Superman, Son of Kal-El, issue 5, John Kent will be revealed as bisexual. And I thought that was excellent. Because
it's great.
I
like how you said it. Like, go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, I just you need more bisexual representation. I felt really passionate about this. Tim Drake happened a couple of weeks ago. We didn't talk about it, but Urban Legends number 11, I believe it is, revealed that Tim Drake is going to be bisexual, and just to have positive bisexual representation is just finally a good thing. And having these 2 characters be it is wonderful.
I was gonna say I thought it was really fun just the way you presented it. Like it was important for me that we talk about this week. Like we weren't going to talk about it. It was one of the biggest news items of the week, even before Fandome came out.
Apologize. I meant to say I felt very passionate about it.
No, I get you.
I want to bring up one thing. This wouldn't have happened unless Bendis ages the character up. So
that's true.
One bad thing led to an even greater thing, in my opinion.
Right.
So
right.
Thank you, Bendis. I'm glad you're gone now, though.
Thank you. I mean, honestly, Tom Taylor has been doing some great work giving back a personality to John Kent. And a good writer can make me okay with any idea, even if I don't like it. Yeah. Anything else you want to add?
Dean Cain can go suck a dick.
Oh my God.
That,
yeah.
Screw him.
He's been shitty for Ben.
No, I know.
Do you still have that?
No, I know.
Of
He's
course
just
I still
he's
have
nobody's
it.
Superman. Like that he even had to weigh in on this is ridiculous.
I mean,
knows
he wants
knows
to
everything.
pretend to be relevant, and
Yeah.
nobody gives a crap.
Yeah.
Except conservatives who
Yeah,
hate bisexuals.
I keep forgetting about Dean Cain is not a good person, and I freaking
Just want to forget.
Well, it's also the fact that one of my prized possessions is his headshot in the Superman suit, signed with my name on it that my dad got me.
Yeah. It's a great gift.
So,
it's a great gift.
Yeah.
Just know that you care more about Superman than actually Superman does.
That's true.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, I keep forgetting about that. But yeah, Superman John Kent coming out as bi. Rad. That's awesome.
Hey, everybody, go buy Superman Son of Kal-El, because the more you buy that book, the longer he will be Superman, and then the status quo won't be changed. And just like keep it how it is. I like how it is.
Really great that John Kent will be bisexual. Absolutely, I'm here for it. Very happy about it. All that kind of stuff. I'm also very happy about the fact that Superman now gets to be the most supportive LGBTQ father, like ever.
Oh hell yeah!
The whole thing he ever needed to be, because like it is like it's great that a Superman character like John Kent is bisexual, but it's also great that we get to have classic Superman being like, I support my son because I'm a good person.
even if Superman isn't the one being gay, he's supportive, so he's
exactly and he gets to be that father, because someone put it very well that like in talking about it this week that Superman is like a father figure to everybody. Having Superman be able to be this role model of this type of father, fantastic thing.
I'm so excited to read that issue, and Superman says to go, oh hell yeah, my son, hell yeah, I'm into it.
All right, so part of me really hopes that next year for Pride they make a variant cover where Superman's cape is the Pride flag.
They already have.
Damn it!
And they didn't do it during Pride. They did it after Pride because you don't need to do it during Pride.
Well, no, there could be like a second cover for next year's Pride. They could do that.
No,
but so Superman has like the Pride flag, but then Jonathan has the bisexual flag.
What I'm imagining
as their capes.
What I'm imagining is the opportunity for us to have Superman moments, maybe even has him being Clark Kent, but like it being in a Superman comic and knowing it's him, of things like the thing where, the famous one that everyone loves, talking someone off the roof before they commit suicide.
Right.
But now it can be that contemporaryism of the dads who are dads who go to Pride and say, I'm supportive of my kid. I'm offering dad hugs for those who don't have dads who are supportive. And he can be that person. Either if they an adaptation of that literally, or just through what he's going to do in the comics, he can be that person for everybody now. And that's awesome.
It is.
Among other things, bisexual representation in the media is the reason was the reason for a lot of mistakes I made as a child. So having this positive representation, finally, with Tim Drake, Elvira, Jonathan Kent, I know two of them are fake characters, but I just think having that positive, I just think it's very. I wish I could have had this when I was a kid. I think a lot of things would have been different. I'm happy that things will be different for other kids.
Yep, absolutely. Very much in such a big way. Like we have to recognize where like our contemporary representations in pop culture affect and morph, especially for young minds, the way we translate and what we do in the world and how we adapt that into our personas, which is why things like what Dave Chappelle did with his recent special is so bad, is that it's like, sure, they can be jokes, but like the jokes are an excuse for things that become worse.
Yep.
And having these kind of role models be able to step into these positions now is great.
Yeah, I agree. Peacemaker is getting a new book. There's one shot from Garth Ennis.
This is
Gary Brown.
Garth Ennis is literally the perfect person for Peacemaker, man. Oh my god.
Yeah. Do you want me to read the solicitation for this one?
Is it long?
Not that long.
Read it.
Long before joining the Suicide Squad, Christopher Smith, codenamed Peacemaker, meets with a psychiatrist, a woman dangerously obsessed with his bizarre and violent past. From his tragic childhood to his military service overseas to his multiple missions with special forces, Smith has more than his share of skeletons in the closet. But who's actually analyzing whom? And will this trip down memory lane result in yet more fatalities?
Cool. I love Garth Ennis. That dude writes like heavy, violent satire. Like he's maybe the best in the comic biz. So like him doing a Peacemaker, especially like the John Cena is in our mind area now. Like, I'll buy this one shot for sure. Garth Ennis rules.
Yeah. We're at DC Fandome now.
The Fandome.
Welcome to the Fandome once again this year.
But wait, we got to do the thing that they did in Fandom, where like they're really zoomed out and they zoom in on a guy. Hey, welcome to Fandom. I'm on a green screen.
Oh, do you want me to do the countdown again?
No, don't.
I want to, before we get into the news pieces, I do want to broad strokes it. In general, how do you guys feel about Fandom compared to last year for this one?
I mean, it's impossible to compare to last year's because it's just a continuation of it. So, but I liked it.
See, I don't think it's quite impossible to compare, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because I liked last year's more, and I liked last year's more because of the schedule setup.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that like it left room for like all these kind of at least more engaged and interesting conversations about what the comics are doing, what they're wanting to do. There were specific, like, it felt like making the room for a convention panel to be accessible to your home. And since they want to continue Fandom, I was hoping that that's something we could continue. When we never got a schedule for this, I was like, well, yeah, that's probably not going to happen. And sure enough, it's distilled mostly, all except for a couple of spots, down to
the movies
and games.
All the nerdy stuff.
And TV shows. And I'm like, I mean, I just wish we still had that, because that was an opportunity where those writers got to be out there. And like, more people came to comics because of that. That did happen. And I just, in general, wanted to address, I think it's a bummer that this is probably Fandom of the future.
Yeah, it is definitely more like what Comic-Con has become. This is just
super Hall H.
Yeah, 100%.
Rather than like a whole DC focused like opportunity to explore these things. And
while I do agree with that, like a lot of this was just showing us stuff more in depth of last year's stuff. But also like there is I saw new stuff for the movies that I didn't expect to see. So like I'm not shitting on like the things that we got to see. I'm more just criticizing the choice to strip the format down. I have to imagine,
I wish that didn't happen.
I have to imagine, honestly, that's like regular people just don't care about comic stuff. And I know that's like that sucks, because like if you're doing this 8-hour thing, make it for everyone. But like,
and I know we're gonna bring it up in the news, but like I'm very glad that Milestone had its moment.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Thank goodness.
They're getting like a whole,
thank goodness that they had their moment, because they were one of the bright spots of like that kind of thing. Like I was worried that kind of shit was all going to be out the window, and they at least had that. But yeah, that was my general takeaway. Go ahead.
I agree largely. I did watch this kind of with one eye on the road, because I watched it while I was driving down. Whatever, don't give me a ticket. Well,
you're home. I can't give you a ticket now.
So I did really enjoy it, but I wasn't quite thinking about kind of what I was missing until I got home, and that was when I was like, oh, there wasn't as much comic book stuff as there was last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it started with Black Adam.
Yep,
we got a first look at Black Adam finally.
Murder, She Wrote.
It did the most important thing it needed to do, which is showed Black Adam gonna kill people. And I'm like, That's all I need, baby. I just need to know he's gonna murder people. Like, murder people bad.
He's the bad guy.
The first time The Rock's been a bad guy since Doom.
Yes, that's true.
16 years, baby. Forgot about it.
I'm really glad he isn't letting what kind of has become his current persona prevent them from delivering a true portrayal of Black Adam. The fact that he's willing to kind of shed that and be the villain, albeit the main character still, but still.
Also, I'm just glad it's there. I love that they said Shazam and then he showed up. I'm just like people gonna they gotta do it. They gotta do Shazam and Black Adam. Like, I'm ready for Zachary Levi to have to throw down against The Rock.
Oh yeah.
That's be good time.
So yeah, like all the new movies, like we didn't get footage last year. I wasn't expecting to get footage this year. I don't know why, but like they're still shooting a lot of this stuff. So like I was pretty impressed. Again, like The Rock kills a dude immediately. That's the first thing we see. So like that does send a message of what this movie is. And I'm like, this feels. I like this.
And a very brutal kill.
Yeah, and
for a superhero.
And I'm like, oh wow, The Rock's gonna be intimidating.
Yeah.
What?
Kind of reminiscent of when he showed up in John's Shazam run at the end of Justice League. When the Shazam story was in the back of the Justice League issues in New 52, where he's holding. Yeah, he has Savannah. The other guy's like, "You speak my language. You don't die."
Yeah. I really like what we saw, but I gotta just say, Pierce Brosnan looks great as Dr. Fate.
When has Pierce Brosnan not looked good?
I mean, just like his goatee, he's got the helmet, the shining gold helmet. I loved it.
I'm so excited to see him as Dr. Fate.
I'm excited to finally get the first DC movie announced to finally come out.
Yeah.
You know what? Hey, this made me a believer out of this movie.
100%. Yeah.
Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom had a behind the scenes featurette.
One of the best first looks. Like incredible. I'm so pumped. It's like I watched a real trailer. Like
Yeah.
I'm so hyped for that
I
film.
love a good behind the scenes. Yeah.
Just seeing Jason Momoa and James Wan just talk about this, I'm like, that's awesome.
Patrick-
They're pumped. Even Patrick Wilson is. Oh, when is he not pumped?
We'll talk about the Batman trailer later and the score in it, but just having that Aquaman trailer.
I forgot how
the bum bum.
Yeah.
Yes.
I forgot how
I'm
good.
like, oh, I want to go back to Aquaman. Thank you. Yes.
That's why because we were like, we want more Aquaman. Let's watch an Aquaman thing.
Patrick Wilson's going to be in that movie way more than I thought, and I'm
Yeah.
so here for it.
They're hanging out in the desert. He's all ripped.
I cannot wait to see. I know Black Manta.
Yeah, Black Manta.
I
Y'all
love
that-
up in the teen
That
shirt.
costume looks so good.
and
what's-
then just in behind the scenes shit.
Yeah, and what I love, like the first Aquaman costume had big eyes, but now they have like evil eyes.
Yeah.
Like slanted down like Vegeta
It
style.
looks like right out of the comic book. That's why I love it. I mean, when Jason Momoa gets like the orange suit, it's like that's out of the comic book. That looks great.
The concept art looks incredible. The globetrotting looks incredible. The fantasy
Black
elements are there.
Manta's minions are the sea diver people.
Yes,
Yeah.
the sea
Yeah.
divers. That's
The
what I
sea
was going to get to.
divers.
I love the divers. I love this like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea brought up look that they've
Yeah.
got going. I love the look of the submarine. I'm here for it. I'm happy.
I'm ready. I'm
The
ready.
fact that they were like, we're really leaning into the fantasy elements, and like Jason Momoa is super excited. I'm like, yes, give me some fantasy DC Aquaman.
Man, do you want more fantasy? It's coming up in another movie too.
Can you imagine 10 years ago we would have said one of the most exciting movies we're going to be is an Aquaman film?
I'm so happy.
It's
Yeah.
my most anticipated from this. No shame.
It's my
to the
second.
Batman.
It's my second.
Actually, no. All right, pre New 52. If I would have told you one of the most hype movies that we can't wait to see is Aquaman, I
Shit.
probably would have called you a liar.
I gotta
I'm
tell
like,
you, actually,
really, the dude who talks to fish? Are you serious?
I gotta tell you, actually, it's my third. I love Aquaman too, but it's my third most anticipated.
That's
All this looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my third most anticipated out of this bunch. We'll get to the top two at the bottom.
Milestone had a dedicated panel, which was excellent. Really glad they did that. The Milestone book. They talked a bit about the Milestone books. The compendium is coming soon. They talked about the Static Shock movie. It's coming. Really excited.
Those season 1 books are coming together really nicely. I think those are going to be really sick to pick up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The second seasons were announced at this panel as well.
Yep, and the first season for Blood Society.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes, first season for Blood Society.
Yeah.
Did they like announce something animated?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, so the two things they announced the thing were two of the big ones was the Milestone Initiative, which is going to partner with Next Generation DC, which is a program that DC has to bring in kind of the next generation of comic book creators. The Milestone Initiative will partner with them to bring in the next generation of like Milestone comic book creators. I thought that was really cool.
Yes, I think that's awesome.
Next gen.
And a Milestone animated movie, not a Static Shock, not an Icon of Rocket, a Milestone Universe animated movie was announced.
That's awesome.
That will
That will jump those comics up.
yeah, because like the thing is like comics already are a small business, but if you get an animated movie out, especially with people who like, even if Static Shock isn't a main character, if he's in it, like kids who watch that show will go, oh, it's that guy, he's back.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm glad Milestone didn't come back for a minute. Like I'm glad they're back and they're actually trying to do more
They're
stuff.
back. They're back for real.
Yeah, back for blood.
and I think it's going to be great to have that animated film come out, and it'll be like, go pick up those season 1 books. Like they're right there. Here's all season 1 of this. They're all connected. Let's go, baby.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League had a story trailer.
This game's still really far away, so it was just a story trailer. But like I really like the character stuff they're doing. Like it is, we've seen the Suicide Squad in the other movie, so like it's kind of just doing what those characters are kind of doing. But there was a great theory, and I don't think it's true, that the Justice League's actually the Justice Society. And you're going to be since they don't want you to actually kill Batman, you're actually be killing evil Batman. You're actually be killing evil Superman. Because like the Flash looks like, what's the Flash's evil name? Like Johnny Rocket or Johnny Red?
Quick.
Yeah. His outfit kind of looks like Johnny Quick.
The Injustice game?
No, the Crime Syndicate.
The Crime
That's it.
Syndicate. That's what Crime Syndicate.
I was
going
to
to
say Justice Society.
Sorry, yeah.
I was like,
Injustice.
I was like,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
mean
yeah.
Jay Garrick?
No. The evil people.
Ultraman.
Sorry, Crime Syndicate. Yeah.
So it's Ultraman, it's Owlman, it's
It's a theory. Because like if you are actually going to be killing these people, I don't know if DC would actually want you doing that, unless like they're just being bold and like you are just going to straight up kill Barry Allen, which I am for. if you're gonna make a game like this, I want them to do it, but I don't think they're actually gonna do it.
Right. The most that it looks like they're gonna do is like they fight him for a bit and then they get knocked out and like, oh, what happened? I'm back to normal now.
The trailer made it seem like you are fighting a bunch of them, and I'm really curious.
It felt very like when you watch like the trailer for God of War 3 with him taking on all the gods.
Yes.
It had that same kind of energy.
You're building
to taking on all these. I will say, like, because it is just a story trailer, there's not a lot to glom on from gameplay. Like, half of it works for me, and half of it I'm like, I don't really care for the characterization or humor on display here. It's nobody in particular. It's just like, oh, I don't think these are very good lines. Or blah, blah.
I liked Boomerang the most.
I think Boomerang is one of the best. I think the only bit that overall worked for me, and even then, like some of the line deliveries are not awesome, is the bit with the penguin.
Oh yeah. He's running away.
Entertaining.
That's my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm not sold on being entertained by these four at this moment in time.
Yeah.
That I'm not drawn to these personalities to want to play them the same way that like I think a good example is like the Left 4 Dead games.
Sure.
Those characters feel like personalities I want to spend time with, hear them interact with each other. I'm not getting that from this yet. And since this is just a story trailer, that's really all I can judge. And I'm like, I'm not vibing all these guys yet.
I'm still not sure what the game is. Like we know it's like an Arkham game, but with the Suicide Squad. But is it multiplayer? Is it open world? Is it mission based? Like we're still not sure.
Yeah. And this one of the two we're going to talk about are in the Arkhamverse theoretically, right?
This
one is technically, yeah. The other one is its own,
which
thing.
is weird because it feels like it would make more sense for it to be the other one.
But this is the one being made by Rocksteady,
right?
So this is the Arkham guys, yeah.
We'll talk about that one a little later because I'm going in panel order. Peacemaker. We got a first trailer at Peacemaker.
Yes. Ryan, you brought up that you bounced off of it a little bit.
I thought some of it was funny, but I expected the trailer to win me over, and I thought half of it was good.
I posited a theory to Ryan that it's interesting because at least the trailer, the way it portrays it, John Cena's character is going from being the funny guy to the straight man.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny about him is his reactions most of the time to other people, and that's a weird total pivot that we're seeing. I'm not saying it won't work. I think that is part of the reason why the tone of the trailer feels a little off. Is John Cena's not being the funny guy?
Yeah, he's definitely just more emotion. Like this is like the emotion.
Now Vigilante will be the funny guy,
and I did like Vigilante.
You're right.
Like I'm sure the show's gonna be great. I expect the trailer to win me over. And I'm like, oh yeah, it looks all right. Yeah. I'm sure it's gonna be good.
There's a lot there I like. Mm-hmm. I really like the new character that James Gunn created. The agent lady?
Yeah,
who comes up and she shoots him and he's like, you don't need to shoot them after I kill them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I like the eagle bit when the eagle's hugging him. I think that's funny.
Dad.
So there's something else I was gonna say about this, but I really liked it. Can't wait for more of James Gunn just in general.
There's a lady in her underwear beating the shit out of him and throwing him through walls and like charging him while he's like landed against a car, and I'm ready for that.
There was a comparison video. I remember what I was going to say. There was a comparison photo of Vigilante from Arrow who wasn't Adrian Chase because Adrian Chase turned out to be Prometheus.
Yes.
And the Vigilante from Peacemaker. I was like, wow, I forgot Vigilante was an Arrow.
Yeah. Forget a lot of Arrow.
Right, Superman had a pretty solid chunk of fandom. Superman and Lois had a fun set visit, but they're just kind of having fun.
We didn't watch
it. The cast of Supergirl sat down for a kind of a walk down memory lane.
Yeah, they sat down from the set of the finale. They got a bunch of the people back. It's great to know that Jimmy Olsen and Jeremy Jordan and Melissa Benoist's real life husband, who plays Mon-El, are all going to be back for the finale.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to ask you, did you have anything like you want to talk about, like the CW stuff? Because I didn't put a lot of that in here. So Batwoman,
there's not a lot to say about them. I was kind of surprised that they made no commentary about how hard it's been to roll out Supergirl's last season with the pandemic scheduling, because it's very bizarre, because Supergirl's last season started in the early chunk of all the other shows' previous seasons, and Batwoman and Legends are currently back, and Supergirl's still not done. So its season just spans over the time of shows ending and shows starting again and all this kind of stuff. It's very, very interesting, and like just the challenge that they particularly have because it's their last season and what they do. I kind of wish that there had been some amount of them talking about it. I get why that might be a downer. They didn't really want to get into it. But I'm like you were in like the toughest spot. And I feel like there was an opportunity and room to maybe address it, but nope. Yeah. Other than that, like Legends is doing stuff. Like Legends is great. Ryan watched the 100 episodes in 100 seconds, and that made him go like, I should watch the show. And
it's
I'm
really
like,
cool.
yeah,
It's just like,
yes.
like 100 episodes, like you don't think about like how much time has really passed. And I'm like, that's a lot of episodes.
They're at like, they were at like episode 48, and it's got Constantine in it. I'm like, damn, he's been in a lot of episodes.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, wow, yeah.
When I saw the 100-minute thing and kind of going back through the episodes that I watched when I did, I was like, oh yeah, the show was pretty good.
5 years ago.
The show gets good.
Honestly, I still miss Rip Hunter. I'm glad he's coming back for 100.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're bringing back so many people for that 100th episode. Legends is one of the best served shows on the CW, so that's great. I'm hoping that we're still gonna get like some opportunity for Melissa Benoist's Supergirl to see Superman before she's out the door. That has not been made clear. Her continuity time with Superman and Lois has been really murky, and I'd like a clean step away, or an opportunity for her to come back. I'm sure she could do that at any point in time.
Yeah.
I'm also really curious because we know like she's the main decision of why the show is ending, which is totally fine. She's going to be a mom. I'm very curious if we get to see some of those other like standouts like Martian Manhunter and get to move over to other places for a time.
I'd have to imagine someone like him would.
Yeah.
I got a little teary-eyed watching this one, honestly. It was just weird.
For a show you don't watch?
Well, I mean, I watched it in the beginning, so like kind of harkening back to the beginning of it all. I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Supergirl overall, I would say, is still worth the time to go back through if you ever have the hankering to. I don't think it's a must do, but I do think it's a worthwhile one that you wouldn't be like upset you did it.
Smallville celebrating its 20th anniversary. Wild.
Yeah, good for them.
So they sat down and had a reunion of most of the people from for the span of that show. Not Allison Mack, obviously.
I wonder why.
Not really a reunion, but appearances.
Right. It was more of appearances, but I really enjoyed that. Watching Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling sit down to kind of talk about their experiences with Smallville, and Michael Rosenbaum like put to bed like a lot of the rumors about him leaving.
Yeah, I'm glad that they paid Smallville some respect, because I'm like, it was literally that day was the 20th anniversary. I'm like, that's really nice that you came out and did that.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I did watch some of it, and we talked about this earlier at lunch. But my favorite part is when when Michael was talking about how he had these long soliloquies, and then Tom's line was like, and he's like, this isn't bullshit. I had these great speeches, and all he has is the one word line. Seriously.
Also, like one of the first opportunities Justin Hartley's ever taken to talk about the show since he left.
Oh my god,
because he was already there.
The Spice Online when he was Oliver Queen Green Arrow, and everyone's like, "That's my Oliver Queen." I'm like, "Oh god, here we go."
He was wearing. I like that he picked a green little sweater thing just to be like, "I know where I'm at."
I love it.
It's like I remember my roots.
I miss Justin Hartley's Green Arrow.
Yeah. I will always be remiss that Crisis on Infinite Earths didn't take the opportunity to have him meet Stephen Amell.
100%.
Yeah. We saw his costume in that Supergirl post.
Yeah,
we did.
Michael Rosenbaum at the end, though, said, "I'll see you soon," and that got everyone kind of like, "I'm sorry," because they didn't take the time to acknowledge the animated series they're working on. Tom Welling, Michael Rosenbaum, but there was an interview that released today where Michael Rosenbaum talked that they're about to pitch it to Warner Brothers.
Nice.
Yeah, it's too far away. I think they didn't want to like jump ahead of the ghost.
Yeah. And then Superman's new slogan was revealed as well: "Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow."
It's about time.
I'm okay with that.
Sounds good.
Superman is a hero for everybody.
Yep.
He as many people were talking about, bringing up the historicalness of Truth, Justice, and the American Way. That came from a 1940s serial, so it wasn't even the comics initially. So that's cool. I'm glad that they changed that.
Did you guys know Magneto's helmet blocking Xavier's telepathy? That's not a comic thing. That's a movie thing.
Oh,
What, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, I'm just teaching you guys so much
I
about
think,
that.
I think I did know that actually.
Well,
I didn't.
You learned again today.
I just knew that
There
he
you
had
go.
a sick ass helmet for the
You just,
entire.
are you just sitting on some X-Men fun
No,
facts
just
over there
like
that
he
you're
just
ready
brought
to,
up like a fun
throw out?
fact, and I'm just like, I also have a fun fact. I just thought of it.
Yeah.
I'm really glad you shared that. I'm really happy with that.
Yeah.
All right. DC's League of Super Pets. The second time The Rock came out to talk about projects he's doing. Speaking of super pets,
Cats are being crazy.
Cats.
we got basically a clip of DC's Super Pets. League of
Yeah, I
Super
don't
Pets.
really have anything to say about
Nah, I didn't do it.
Not for us.
it. The energy of the logo part, where they're bickering at that, reminded me a lot of the energy of almost verbatim the Toy Story 2 teaser that came out way back when they announced Toy Story 2, and it was Woody and Buzz having a little like joking, bickering thing. The whole bit is that Woody's frustrated that he finds out that Buzz is going to be part of Toy Story 2, and Buzz Lightyear is like, what would Toy Story 2 be like without Buzz Lightyear? And Woody's like, a good movie.
Oh shit.
And it had that same kind of vibe and energy to it, and I'm like, that's fine, that's cute.
I love it.
I don't know that the whole clip needed to be a pee joke. That's
Yeah.
not the way to sell me immediately.
Nope.
Kids though.
Yeah. Cats.
Definitely looked like something not for me. There was also some Batwheels stuff. That theme song is a pretty cool theme song, but we don't need to talk about that.
Nope.
Doom Patrol was announced to get a 4th season,
Good for them. Love Doom Patrol.
and they had a mid-season 3 trailer.
Didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either because I'm in it.
Yep.
I'm waiting, watching.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that show is succeeding, because I'll tell you right now, because it'll come up. If Titans had gotten that renewal and Doom Patrol hadn't, I'd be mad. I'd be so mad.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I'm really happy for Doom Patrol. I love that show. I'm so glad I'm watching it.
Also, I'm just really happy for Matt Bomer. Matt Bomer was all over the place. Like, good for him. That's great.
Yeah. Also, Flula Borg was all over the place. in
He's the
this.
reason that we watched the Aquaman thing.
What incredible energy.
Yeah, it was really fun. I saw someone post like, "Would this guy just shut up?" I was like, "No, let him host the whole thing."
He's having a great time. Like, everyone else is so stiff. He's just having fun. It was great.
I'm at DC Fandome.
Yeah, so good. What wonderful energy. But yes, Doom Patrol. That is a quality show. I'm glad it's getting the stuff it deserves. Check us out talking about it very soon, somewhere.
Yeah.
The Flash, not the CW show, the movie had a first look.
I'm gonna be positive real quick. I like that theme song.
Yeah,
I think like the I love it. Sounds great. Love it.
It sounds very
Yeah.
reminiscent of the CW one. Like they're taking it in
Hmm.
a little bit of a different direction, but there's definitely something there that's a little callback to it.
Flashy. It's flashy.
we don't see Michael Keaton, but we hear him.
Yeah.
Yep. We see the back of his head.
It's true.
We
That
don't
goes
see the
down.
Batmobile, but we do.
Yeah.
We don't see his suit, but we do.
Yeah.
Let me see a shot.
Yeah.
I love Michael Keaton as Batman. That's what I'm gonna say about this trailer.
Yeah.
It's not even really a trailer. Like they shot like 5 minutes. Like
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because Ezra Miller's like, hey, we don't have a trailer, we don't have a teaser, but we do have a little something. It's
I
like,
am excited about what I am taking as confirmation that Supergirl is a important character in this movie and
She's
not just
part of
an
the team.
appearance.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's awesome. Happy to see her there.
So this is I don't want to talk about it too much because there obviously is not a lot to talk about. But if they're on the Batman, the '89 Batman world, then she's the Supergirl of that world. Potentially, right?
Yeah, that's a good good point because in
This
the
could be like
trailer
40 years in the future, so Superman's doing his own thing.
Yeah, potentially.
so she could be Nicolas Cage's Supergirl.
Oh my god.
that's
You
right.
can't even do that. Oh no.
Can you imagine though?
That would be nuts.
The trailer does kind of imply that Barry went back in time to stop his mom. We know the story of Flashpoint. Went back in time to stop his mom, and then created the '89 Batman world as his main universe because of that reason. That's what kind of I got from the trailer. So it is. So the implication of like Supergirl being that world Supergirl makes sense.
Yeah, like something happens. It's not a direct Flashpoint that they're doing, but like he ends up in the future '89 world in some way. And he's like, "Oh, you want to save like you can go in any timeline or whatever." I'm like, honestly, I don't give a shit except for Michael Keaton. I'm being honest.
It's too early to tell. We'll have to see what
Yeah.
kind of stuff. I am intrigued that we got a look. So that spray paint of the Flash stuff over a Batman suit appears to be what the other Ezra Miller Flash is wearing.
Yeah.
He is
An old
wearing
bat
a
suit.
Batman suit that spray painted to be a Flash suit, which is cool.
People are speculating that he's depowered at some point because he's just taking a cab somewhere.
I suspect so as well.
Like he that's what happens in Flashpoint too. So he probably goes to Batman to get re-flashed.
And we see an image of Ben Affleck's Batman cowl on the ground. Neat. I'm just.
It's happening. The Flash movie's happening.
I gotta roll with it.
Yeah.
I think Flashpoint is a mistake, but I think Flashpoint is a mistake for a first Flash movie, but I'd be hard pressed to say that Flashpoint isn't a good idea for the state that the film universe is in at this point.
Yeah.
I wonder who's going to play the Reverse Flash role. Like what type of character that's going to be.
This rumor persisted online for a while, and I don't know it was an old script, but people are speculating that there isn't an actual like Eobard Thawne Reverse Flash. It is evil Barry Allen Reverse Flash, and it is the guy who's with him.
Oh, interesting.
But like that's all wild speculation.
Because
but, like,
you need an antagonist, and if we don't know that Reverse Flash isn't in it, but he's clearly not a main part if he is.
If you're doing Flashpoint, I just assume they haven't shown it yet because again that movie is being made
right. Yeah, this was barely a sneak peek.
Yeah, there's got to be an antagonist, and if they're doing Flashpoint, it's got to be Reverse Flash.
We'll see what happens.
That movie finished filming today. By the way,
amazing.
Still not sold on Ezra Miller as Barry Allen.
Yeah.
And Grant Gustin is probably my Barry Allen. I was just saying to Megan the other day because she was here when Fandom started and Grant Gustin showed up, and I'm like, to his credit, like the show might be diminishing in quality over time, but he remains.
He always brings it.
Truly Barry Allen, like through and through, he's bringing it. I would love if they took the opportunity to throw him into this story somewhere. Like if they return the favor of the CW show, like if he appeared somewhere, I'd be all for it.
You have to imagine if they're having a movie where like your main cast is 2 Ezra Millers, then they would throw Grant Gustin in for fun.
I would hope so.
You think so? Like you have to.
I feel like the opportunity is there, and I think Grant Gustin more than deserves it. I think more than anybody else besides maybe Tyler Hoechlin.
Yeah.
Grant Gustin deserves a crossover appearance into the films.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
And Matt Ryan's Constantine. I'm hoping for the best. Jim Lee has me wondering all kinds of things about what he's willing to do for crossovers.
Jim Lee also had a Crisis on Infinite Earths thing where he was just like, "Oh yeah, we're doing beep 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 beep."
That's pretty cool.
I'm like, are you going nuts or what are we doing here?
Maybe he's just going insane.
Yeah.
All throughout, Candace Patton was popping up, being like, "Breaking news! We got a news thing."
News flash.
Sorry, thank you. And one of them revealed that the Monkey Prince, which was Gene Yang's newest creation from the Celebration annual that came out a couple of months ago.
Right.
So the Monkey Prince will be returning in February 2022 with a new 12-issue series written by Gene Yang.
That's cool.
Do you have the artist name?
Oh, I should, yeah. Bernard Chang.
Thank you.
And there's a short story of it currently available on DC UI.
That's awesome.
So, I like that character. So it's cool that they're getting more.
I love Goku. Yeah.
Well, the short story apparently goes through the Journey to the West story, kind of like it has a bunch of like the characters from Journey to the West. Imagine.
Yeah, I see.
So I heard about.
I love Goku. Yeah.
Who doesn't like Goku?
Gotham Knights, the other video game.
Yes.
Court of Owls.
I want to play this.
Yeah. I'm. Hey, if you can see, I have a Court of Owls tattoo. I think they're pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Arkham games multiplayer with the Court of Owls. Like I already bought the game. I bought the game 10 years ago.
Something about the tone of it is selling me much more.
It feels sinister,
than
man.
the Suicide Squad Justice.
100%. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I watched it down. I watched it like upstairs, and then I watched it down here in 4K on your TV. And I'm like, man, that game looks effing good. Oh my god! And they showed from last year, like Mr. Freeze and like a bunch of other villains are in the game. So like this is gonna be a big ass game plus the Court of Owls. Very excited.
Yeah, it's interesting. Penguin is in both of the video game trailers.
Yes.
Right.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Hey man, and he's in a movie. He's just
And he's in
working
a movie.
hard.
Three trailers
Yo,
for
Penguin
Fandom.
is working this year.
Like Backdoor, there's a lot of Penguin stuff in this Fandom.
Don't put penguin stuff in my back door.
There you go. Yeah, that's nicely.
He's basically like the easy go-to when like you want a mafia guy,
but he's
you
not
want
the number
someone-
one.
But you want someone who everyone recognizes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's Penguin.
That's
You
Yeah.
can't get two faces, so you can get the penguin.
Yeah.
Penguin's like C. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really stoked for this game in a way that I'm not for Suicide Squad. For most reason, I care more about these characters. I love the Bat Family. Having a dedicated Bat Family video game is fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like if it is just the Arkham games, but you have 4 characters and you can play with your friends, I don't see how this is bad. Like I don't see how this can be bad. If it's like we
You
all
can only
like
do 2-player.
2 players fine with me.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that. Like these are the guys who made Arkham Origins, and I think that game's underrated.
I suspect the reason is for that is because a lot of the campaign, a decent chunk of the campaign, will be in pairs.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And they might be like intermingling pairs, like not always consistent. Like, oh, it's these 2, and then it's these 2, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
these 2 for a long time. But I think they'll swap around. But I think that's the reason why they didn't make a 4-player campaign, because they were like, we don't want all 4 characters going through the story beat for beat the whole time.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So I think that's why it's 2-player.
The design of the game, the owls in general, all the different talons, really cool.
I
Yeah.
love Talon so much.
Got an incredibly spooky vibe. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because this discourse on the internet, obviously, Batman is not dead.
Yeah.
But did we not see a coffin with his name on it and the owls in the first trailer, implying that he's going to be a Talon?
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
I assume Batman's not dead. Like he's not going to be dead.
I think he's a Talon.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if he's undercover or he's a Talon or something. Yeah.
And like they have to fight to save him.
Yeah,
or
I'm
something
sure
It
like that,
wouldn't surprise me if that's the third act twist.
100%. Yeah.
All right, cool. I'm excited for that game though.
Oh yeah.
Catwoman Hunted, the new anime film coming to the DC.
Looks great. Great animation.
This looks so fun. And what I love about this is it's not end of the world stakes. It's not Batman having to save his family. It's Catwoman doing heists. That's all it is.
So
and Batwoman's hanging out.
This and Aquaman King of Atlantis, those were the 2 things that made Ryan and I go, Disney's got to step it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they have so much animation potential.
100%.
There should be more animated Marvel product. Now, I know we might be on the cusp of something like that. We got that Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur series coming. I'm hoping, but like one place where DC does it, even if I don't like every project they put out, the DC animation projects, at least I feel like there's a lot of variety going on there. I need Disney to do this more with Marvel.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited for this.
Yeah.
I thought this looked awesome. Stephanie Beatrice is Batwoman in this, and I think she's a great choice for Batwoman. That's a great character.
Yeah.
There's anime monsters that they both have to fight.
I
Really
didn't sign
enjoying
up for
it.
this. Did you? You have to think about that question.
Yeah. It just seems like a really good time. And
Yes.
like
like a
obviously-
lot of fun.
like a lot of fun. There's obviously stakes because she's doing stuff, but it's it looks light and fluffy, and I'm happy to go through this 70s-esque heist movie. Yeah.
Now that will be the first animated film coming from DC, Warner Brothers, Home Entertainment, in 2022, and then they announced the next few that are going to come out that same year. So kicking everything off will be Constantine, the House of Mystery, which will return Matt Ryan to the role. And that's going to be that's going to be like a 45-minute short paired with other showcase shorts.
Cool.
So it'll be like a collection of shorts. Teen Titans Go and DC Superhero Girls Mayhem in the Multiverse, for fans of both those properties, are getting a crossover.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think both those properties have awesome things for them at times. And so the fact that they'll do something together is great.
Yeah. Then the next film in the DC animated movie canon, so this will be the one after Long Halloween, Green Lantern Beware My Power.
Cool.
I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see Green Lantern in that animation.
Do we know anything about it?
No, not yet. We'll know more as it goes on. But what I'm seeing already is an improvement over what they did than the last canon. We never got a dedicated Green Lantern movie, so we didn't really connect with that character. There was a lot of characters that they just didn't do solo films for. So having seeing that we're already doing that as we build up to obviously a Justice League, and this canon is really nice, getting us to know these characters in the same way that the MCU did.
True.
And I love the animation. So yeah. Battle of the Super Sons will be out in the fall. This is going to be the last original film. And it's going to be DC's first CG animated movie.
Oh,
We'll see how that goes. It could be great.
We'll see
It could.
how much money we're spending.
It could be good.
Right.
Could be bad.
I mean, let's lower our expectations. It ain't going to be Lupin the Third.
No, I know, but like,
not even close.
is it going to be like Blade Runner or like a Netflix property?
Yeah.
Like, that's what I mean. Like,
Hey, if it could look, if it's a movie that could look as good as the League of Legends series, Arcane.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah. But the Super Sons, really cool. John Kent, Damian Wayne, in an animated movie. And then the final release that will be a deluxe edition of The Long Halloween. They'll just put the two movies together like they did The Dark Knight Returns.
Makes sense.
It's weird that that's not just coming out sooner.
Yeah. It is weird. All you got to do is like...
They're both out. Like, what are you waiting for?
Just, yeah, it's also...
They're waiting for
all
next
those Blu-rays,
Christmas?
yeah.
No, they got to sell through the first ones first, yeah.
You mean they're waiting for next Halloween?
Yeah.
And
No,
I'm
Christmas
excited.
gifts.
All the last DC animated films from the last couple of years, I've been going back through them. I've been watching all the new releases. I think they're all really fun, really great. I haven't seen the latest Mortal Kombat yet, but I'm really enjoying them. So yeah, I'm excited. Batman Unburied. This is the Winston Duke Spotify.
The audiobook, audio drama.
Yeah. By the Dark Knight, the Batman Begins dude, Blade Trinity.
David Goyer,
thank you. He's writing it. They've rounded out the cast with Sam Witwer, who's going to play the Harvester, a cannibalistic serial killer. Amy Raver Lapman from the Umbrella Academy and Central Park will play Kel, a sultry medical student helping Bruce while hiding a few secrets of her own. Jessica Maria Garcia from Diary of a Future President and How to Get Away with Murder will play Renee Montoya, described as Batgirl's partner, or Barbara Gordon's partner. Jim Peary from Penguins of Madagascar will play Arnold Flass, a corrupt cop who uses his badge for his own personal gain.
How dare.
Corruption, what's your function?
So that's rounding out nicely, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, lots of good stuff.
Titans has been renewed for season 4.
Cool.
Neat.
People seem to really like this season until they didn't.
I saw that, yeah.
Well, something happened in it. So like, congratulations on a new season.
The other thing that happened?
Yeah. I'm not convinced that it's actually that's the dumbest thing they could have possibly done in that show.
I agree with you.
Take away the best character in the show.
I know.
And that's why
I'm so mad about
That's
it.
why there's no way in hell.
Dumb.
No way in hell they actually did it. No show would be that stupid. Maybe not. Who knows?
They also released a clip.
Finale.
They also released a clip from the finale, I think.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah. I didn't really either, but I'm not watching the show. Harley Quinn. We got our first look at what season 3 is going to look like for Harley Quinn, the animated series.
Looks like more of that show, and I love that show, so I'm happy.
Yep.
She had a lot of fun quips about how long animation takes. Kite Man's doing his thing in the kite.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I love King Shark's back. We hear Bane again. We knew Bane was
yes.
coming back, but just hearing Bane in that little sizzle reel is like, yay.
I can't wait for the show to come
Yeah,
back.
we saw something.
All right, which one's this one? Right. Batman Caped Crusader, the Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, Matt Reeves, Sam Tucker animated show coming to Cartoon Network and HBO Max.
That's right.
Oh,
That's right.
Is going to be inspired by Bruce Timm's Strange Days, which was a short he did for, I think, the 70th anniversary for Batman. I don't remember which. It's going to see Batman early in his career with no superheroes and not a lot of gadgets. They're going to build up to the more crazy gadgets as the show goes on. And described like if they did Batman the Animated Series today, like it was the 90s and they were doing Batman the Animated Series, but with no restrictions.
Nice. I love it.
And then they're going to try and make new iconic versions of his rogues. That was kind of all we got from that just discussion they had.
Okay.
That, and one of them wants a special black and white episode. Because
Yes.
they're going for that noir, and they're like, the whole show won't be black and white, but one episode should be.
That's their musical episode.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're going back to the beginning of Batman.
Long ears, please.
Oh, yeah.
They
Oh
got
yeah.
him.
Oh yeah.
Have you guys seen the Strange Days short that Bruce Timm did?
Yes.
Or maybe I did. I just can't remember it.
For the two who haven't, I recommend it. It's really cool. It's a silent short, and it's got Hugo Strange and a really cool looking scarecrow.
Oh,
All
okay.
right.
We got a first look at Naomi,
I guess
Yeah. If you
the
want.
Ava DuVernay show.
I would definitely call that a first look.
I'm excited for
A
the
sneak peek?
I believe
I'm excited
her
for the
passion.
show. I think this was a terrible
Yes.
way to try to show us anything about it.
Yes, I believe in her passion.
It tells us nothing.
Give me something to chew on.
Oh, we saw Superman.
It tells us nothing. In fact, it just feels like a weird, dumb moment because it's just a girl in high school doing something. And then they're like, what's going on? Because she's looking at her phone in her classroom and she's like, something's going on with Superman. I need this for my site. Bathroom break. Be back in 10. And I'm like, wow, this is like the worst way to sell me on the show.
Yeah.
I'll wait for another trailer.
Right. I will too.
Yeah.
I just
Uh,
wish that they had, like, I'm interested in wanting to see the show because of the team behind it, what it's doing and everything. But
Yeah.
like, please don't show me like nothing.
Yes.
She also talked about DMZ. Anybody want to talk about that?
It's a Brian Wood comic from.
They seem to have a lot of
that.
passion for it.
Yeah, that's also another.
Ooh, Benjamin Bratt's in it.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. Benjamin Bratt's in it.
Like a Why the Last Man. That's another dystopian future
Yes.
where the United States is in a civil war with each other. So like we'll see how that one goes.
They're definitely like not following the comic verbatim from what they said.
Yeah.
They're taking like inspirational choices.
It's still the United States at civil war though.
No. Yeah, I'm not knocking that. I'm saying,
yeah.
I'm saying like, you know, they said like they're taking a lot of liberties with like the main character and all this kind of stuff.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I heard they changed the main character.
Good.
Yeah.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods had a first look.
Helen
This
Mirren,
is-
marry me.
This is my second most anticipated.
Yeah,
Almost
this is my second as well.
Cyclops. It's almost my first.
We got a lot of cool mythology characters in this one this time
Yeah,
around.
he's doing all kinds of mythology stuff that Wonder Woman just refuses to do.
Yeah.
It's because he had a stranglehold on it, I guess.
I love it. I love the whole thing. It looks great. Also, boy, they needed to cast someone younger to be Billy.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He grew up. He grew up hard.
He already looks like he's almost 20 because he is.
His name is the main character Asher Angel.
Yes.
And when he Shazammed, I was like, that's not really that much of a difference anymore.
No, it's
No.
not.
Yeah, it'll be all the more noticeable going forward. I think we're just gonna have to have Shazam be Shazam all the time.
But seeing Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren on set, that made me happy. I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I really like the design aesthetic of it, seeing all the different concept arts of the different places they go to, dealing with the Greek mythology directly. The changes they made to their lair, the Rock of Eternity.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was fun.
They actually put a sign that says Lair on it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We got them all there. It looks great. It looks like fun. I'm pumped.
Yes.
So Wonder Woman had a panel, kind of a
Let's talk
long
about-
stretch.
Let's talk about World War III.
It's kind of a long stretch of things. Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins took the time to say that Wonder Woman 3 is in development, which we knew.
Cool.
Everybody knew.
But the kind of the big news that came from it was that the Wonder Woman series of books will be having a massive crossover next year with Wonder Woman: The Trial of the Amazons.
Yay.
It's going to be a major event next year, which will see Nubia and Yara Flora come into conflict as the two Amazonian tribes kind of clash.
I am super into that. That Nubia book comes out, I believe, next week. So I'm excited for that. Wonder Woman hasn't had an event in ever.
A dedicated Wonder Woman event? They claim Death Metal is, but
No, it's not.
yeah, no, it's not.
That started from a Batman book. You can try your best. Wonder Woman deserves her own event a decade ago, so this is great. Wonder Woman's been fun. I'm a little behind, but this event will make me catch up. Yeah, dude, Wonder Woman rules.
Becky Cloonan, Michael Conrad, Vita Ayala, Stephanie Williams, Joelle Jones, and Jordi Belair are all writing the event.
Well, those are writers and artists.
Right,
I'm very
writing on
excited about it.
creating the event.
I'm excited for the Wonder Woman thing.
Hell
Yay!
Ooh.
Rounding down the big news of the night was that Pennyworth has moved to HBO Max for its 3rd season.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'm not gonna start watching Pennyworth, but from what I heard, it's a good show. It is. There's no reason for it needs to be a Batman show, but for being a period piece 60s London spy show, it's pretty cool.
That's what I heard too.
I'm not going to knock it. Like,
No,
I
yeah.
got Krypton, and then I was completely wrong about Krypton.
So like, I saw people were like, I think the show is cool enough for me to want to watch another season. So like, I used to be hateful, and I'm like, there's no reason to be hateful for no reason. Like, cool, and it's gonna get a big budget now because of HBO Max. So like, that's cool, man. Cool.
HBO Epix. This was the Epix TV show. Epix no longer wanted it, so the first
always weird.
Yeah,
it was
right. The first 2 seasons will be dropping on HBO Max. I think this month. I think that's what they said. And then the 3rd season will drop next year.
I might check the first episode out, maybe. But the fact that they picked it up and continuing it makes me think that that it's good enough that they want to continue it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool for me.
By the way, League of the Super Pets had something that blew my mind. The end of the trailer was like world premiere trailer in November. I'm like, really? This was a true trailer for a trailer.
My least favorite.
I don't like those.
No thanks.
World premiere. Really don't like those. You can just
All
say like, "Yo, we're having a trailer coming out soon. Don't worry about it."
All right. The big thing is we got our second trailer for The Batman.
Yeah, we did.
The Batman.
I loved this.
I mean, the first one was like, I'm in. This one is like, just take my money for God's sakes. This is so good. Just everything about this is like, even I was talking to Sparks when we rewatched it earlier. I was like, I always forget, but this score for a trailer does not need to hit this hard. It doesn't.
And it's the score for the movie, baby.
Yes.
The Michael Giacchino theme for Batman is going to go down in history, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't often rewatch trailers a lot, you guys. I watched this trailer like 8 times.
That's what you did.
Like it hit me hard, so much harder than Spider-Man could have, than Eternals, like any of that shit. Because like this is a director making a vision. Like it's a Batman movie, yes, but it is a movie with style, with substance, with a clear look. That final shot of the upside down, him walking towards Penguin, I got chills on my chills.
Just everything about Batman, just every shot of Batman. There's so many amazing shots, like him walking, the music crescendoing, or even when he's talking to Riddler, or the scene on the rooftop with Selena Kyle's. Like, why is everything look so good?
I already had a crush on Zoe Kravitz
even when he was walking. Okay, one of the things I actually really like is how his suit, because a lot of the movies he kind of dodges. You don't see him take hits from bullets.
Oh my god,
he's just like, his entire suit is bulletproof, and I love how we see a shot of someone shooting the bat emblem, and he's just like, mother effer, and he just kicks his ass. And he's just walking. He's like, I mean, he's not Superman, but still, he's like, yeah, you can't kill me. I have this super high tech armor that's like the best there is.
It's what they, it's kind of the idea that Batman always should be. It's like, he should appear supernatural to the people he's fighting. To the people he's fighting, he doesn't want to appear as a man. So if you riddle him with bullets and he doesn't go down, you're pretty fucked.
Before you go, Sparks, the thing that really captured my love, like, for Batman, and like we got some of it in the Nolan movies, but like Batman is hella scary.
Mm-hmm.
Batman, he's a dude who dresses as a bat and hunts you at night. Like there's a shot in the trailer where he's just walking towards two guys with machine gun fire on him. That is like the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like it is so rare for me to like lose my shit in a trailer. And where it's the shot where he's getting shot with a bunch and he punches them all. I'm just like, holy shit! Like I can't believe this trailer is this good. I think it's great. Go ahead, Sparks.
All right, one quick thing. I still love how he doesn't say I'm Batman, because obviously we know, but they still is like, what are you? I'm vengeance. I still love that so much.
Yeah.
Okay, now sorry,
Sparks.
For the criminals of Gotham, Batman is Michael Myers. In this essay,
I will.
True.
I think it looks really, really good.
Yeah.
The tone of the trailer works for me very well. The action, the cinematography, all of it looks like something so unique to anything we've seen before. Like it is Batman's what?
Colin Farrell's going for a big performance with Penguin,
Yeah.
which is great. Calm down, sweetheart.
Oh, it's so God.
I do hope that someday we move past the desire to keep doing origin stories for Batman. But I'm happy that like this person clearly has a take and a passion he wants to show us, and I'm excited for that.
I mean, like, if this is gonna slap as hard as the trailer does, this will probably be the end of Batman Origins, because they'll go, well, we can't do that again.
Yeah.
Right.
Now it is done.
And the
It's
thing,
done.
and even like Reeves said, like yes, it is an origin, but it's not like the origin that we keep seeing all the time. Like it's year one Batman, but it's actually the entire year.
Right.
It's actually just him at the first time. So like,
Yes.
it is part Batman Begins, but again, like this is so much more brutal than Batman Begins. In
Do
the
you
Nolan
think?
movies.
Do you think we just totally skip the alley?
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah, no,
I
I think this will be a Uncle Ben situation where we will get a reference, but like everybody knows.
Here I think
we know.
it's needed. Like I still think we need Uncle Ben in the MCU mention, but like here, I think it's totally fine. Like it will be more refreshing.
Yes.
To not.
There will be
There could be a family portrait.
There'll be a
That's
portrait.
fine.
Alfred will say a few words, but like, yeah, we do not need the crime
The
alley.
alley. We don't need to revisit it. We don't need a nightmare about it, a dream about it, whatever.
I talked about this when Paul Dano was first cast as the Riddler. I wanted the Riddler so badly in the Nolan movies.
Mhm.
I thought he would have fit really well for them, and I'm really happy that we're finally getting it like a true to character Riddler adaptation.
This feels more like a Seven or like a Zodiac than like a Batman movie. Like it is like hard boiled detective noir. Your villain is a serial killer who leaves voice message tapes around. Like
I guess Batman talks to as an internal monologue in the movie.
I'm into that. If that's true, holy shit.
That's what some of the pre-screenings are saying.
I'm into that. Yeah, man. Like I love Catwoman. I love Zoe Kravitz. I love Batman and Catwoman together. The fact that we're like getting the start of that in this movie from the beginning means that like she is going to be like an arc with him in some capacity.
You said that, and I didn't realize how badly a Batman movie has needed an internal monologue.
Yeah.
Right.
So truly,
a noir detective
because he has to be a detective. Like we should always have Batman internal monologues in movies. They've been doing it wrong.
How great would an internal monologue have been when Christian Bale is looking at bricks?
Yeah, and he's like actually explaining what the hell's going on. Yeah, man. Like,
let me tell you what. Like, Batman v Superman would have been improved by a Batman internal monologue. That's how badly it's been needed. Like, good lord.
It's a good thing they saved this trailer for last because it's
they knew
it's really
well, and it also had the most to show you give you, and they knew that too.
And the Giacchino score is. I asked you before we started the podcast, what's the best Giacchino score? Because after listening to just this trailer, I'm like, this might be my favorite thing he's made, and I've only heard a minute of it. Yeah, like I can't imagine the whole movie sounding this rock hard cool. Like
before this, I would have said the Star Trek films, but like might be this.
Yeah. I said Ratatouille.
They're all good.
Pretty good.
They're all good. Yeah.
I hope that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll say it just seems like an utter win in every single capacity, and I'm going to be really sad if it's not because it's shaping up, man.
I really hope that later films, if we keep this continuity, they want to keep coming back. We'll get to do some of the more supernatural side of Batman. We'll see kind of that side, which we haven't really seen in the movies yet.
Yeah.
But I have never watched a trailer and I said, I can see the Phantasm showing up in like the sequel.
Yeah. See, the thing
Phantasm fits in this universe.
This is technically like more grounded than the Nolan movies, but at the same time, like Batman, you can still do that and do the supernatural stuff. Like I 100% can see like this first movie being, kind of like traditional, and then the next one, like Batman dealing with something he's never dealt before. Yeah. Now that he is Batman,
that's the trajectory of Batman in the comics anyway. He starts as like ground level, and then he starts seeing more of the crazy stuff.
Or you can even do something like. Now I'm just like speculating in my brain because I love Batman. Like make Clayface like a theater actor supervillain, where he just transforms into a chameleon actor.
God, yes.
Like make that your next serial. Cause like man, like they could make it grounded while still being super silly. Yo man, we're all hyped. I'm hyped.
I'm excited.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's the fandom. So let's get into some trailers.
More trailers.
Needle in a Time Stack.
Do we want to talk about this first, or do we want to talk about Home Sweet Home Alone?
Oh, you did want to talk about Home Sweet Home Alone?
I only want to talk about the one fact about it.
Okay.
Two facts about it.
Go
One
ahead.
is that they got back Buzz McAllister.
The one actor they could get back.
To be Buzz McAllister, and he's a cop, and I'm like, why are we doing that? That's so crazy. The other thing is Ellie Kemper is one of the break-ins thieves, and that gives me a little more reason to want to watch it, because everything post 2 has never really had strong robbers, and that's always been part of the problem, because that's half the formula.
Was French Stewart one of the villains
Yes.
once? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just those the following films have not had a strong dynamic of them versus the kid that the first 2 films had, that makes even the low points of those films work, because that dynamic is so good. And I think this has the opportunity to do that. I also think that it looks the best of any of the Home Alones post 2 that I've ever seen. It looks like it's got the right tricks. I think the kid's got good charisma for it. It's got bandits who I think can carry something of a relationship and a dynamic in tandem with each other and in tandem with the kid that can work. And I think it could be solid holiday entertainment. So good on them. Yeah. It might just land.
Nightmare on Elm Street, by the way, turns into a Home Alone film at the end. I didn't expect that.
Of course.
Really like the ending of that movie.
And Home Alone before Home Alone.
Yeah, Home Alone got its inspiration from except Kevin is Freddy Krueger. All right, now Needle in a Time Stack.
Wild.
You guys brought this to my attention. I didn't see this come out this week.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm happy for Leslie Odom Jr. That actor's cool.
Yeah.
This just I'm interested in a film where time travel is so casual.
That is what is cool about it, and like the name is so stupid, like it gets your attention.
And getting Orlando Bloom back, and I'm also interested in like something that is putting this, like, the stakes don't feel so massive at the center of it, like something that can be very interesting.
Yeah.
You have my attention.
If it was called something else, I probably wouldn't have paid attention to it, to be honest.
Yeah. Something like Time Love. Yeah. For the Love of Time. That sounds like a Bond movie.
Exists.
Probably.
That probably exists.
I feel like it does exist somewhere.
Love in the time of
calling.
Well, hopefully we're more positive about this one. The Black Phone.
Ew, boo!
This one I'm really looking forward to.
So you're full of shit because it looks terrible. I'm just kidding.
So yeah, Scott Derrickson, after not doing Doctor Strange 2, was like, I want to make a small movie. So he made it in like 9 seconds with Ethan Hawke. And I'm like, this looks cool. I'm into this.
Is this a Stephen King?
No.
I'm thinking it's adapted from something. I thought maybe Stephen King, but
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, dude's trapped. Dude, there's a black phone.
A kid has been abducted, and then a girl who sees ghosts, and like the ghosts of his previous victims are trying to help the kid
through the phone,
and the girl's seeing visions, so she's talking to the police so that the police can find the abductor and the kid. So
very cool way to visualize that concept. Very cool concept.
It is an adaptation of the 2004 short story by Joe Hill,
his son. Oh, so tangentially, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Right, yeah, Ben, you should have known that.
Why weren't you on that, Ben?
Shut up.
Ethan Hawke, I love what he's doing with the mask and the different masks. It looks like he's having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
All right. Anything else before we move on to our last trailer?
Nope.
Scream.
No, that's not what it's called.
Five Cream.
Thank you.
I don't actually have a lot to say about this. Mostly because we know some of this footage is bullshit.
They shot some of the stuff.
What could I possibly say? I'm gonna go see this movie. Who gives a shit?
I think it looks nice. I don't like all the actors involved.
He hasn't seen any. He still needs to see Scream 4.
Yeah.
And 3. I haven't seen 3 either.
I watched 3 with you.
No, we watched 2.
No,
wait, which one's 3?
With the movie.
Where they're meeting the.
Oh yeah.
We watched 3.
Right. I always forget that I've watched 3.
We watched 3 together. You just have to see 4.
Anyway, okay, that I remember because we watched 3 and I was like, oh wait, I've seen this.
Yes. Anyway, I am super curious about something that I don't think is a fake out. I don't think that they just went and filmed at this location for no fucking reason. Stu's house is in this trailer. And it's where she's standing at the end. It's where she's outside of in one of the shots. I am super curious why we're at Stu's house. Not that I give into the fan theories that Matthew Lillard Stu is alive and in this movie, but I am curious why we're going back to that location. All of the movies have gone back to Woodsboro in some fashion.
Yeah.
None of them
But
have
going
gone
back to
Stu's
a
house.
dead character's house in a rebooted movie. Yeah, this we'll see.
Spicy.
It could be spicy.
I saw the picture of Shaggy and this Ghostface together. They got the same hunch.
Come on, man. don't do it.
I'm excited. I can't wait to watch the fourth one. I'm really glad you reminded me that I've seen the third one because I almost made the same mistake. All right. Shall we get into our main topic then?
I'm just really hopeful for Scream 5.
Ready or not team.
I'm hopeful. I want them to stick it. Let's see.
Let's
go.
I want them to stab into success.
You played the wrong intro, my friend. What? You might want to go back and play.
No!
All right, great. So what Ryan picked out was...
Right. So...
God, we're a mess. Anyway.
We have fun here on the Fake Nerd Podcast. Spoilers for the latest entry in the Halloween franchise, Halloween Kills.
Hey, friends, it's going to be a conversation about Halloween Kills, but that means it's also spoilers for Halloween 2018 and Halloween, the 1978 original from John Carpenter. So if you haven't seen any of those things, get out of here.
Who are you watching this third installment? These people, come on, don't do it.
So what do we think about, so full spoilers, you've been warned. What do we think about this one?
Ben, go.
Oh shit. Okay.
It was your favorite movie of 2018.
It was my favorite movie. It's Halloween is still my favorite like air quotes horror movie.
I'm so fascinated by your take. Go ahead.
I have issues with it, but I still had a blast with it. I don't think it's as good as the first one, but this was, I mean, well, I'll get into it more, but I feel like me knowing for a fact that there's a sequel coming kind of hindered it.
I've heard that take before.
I still really enjoy this movie, but I do have some problems with it, especially the ending. I'm really pissed off at the ending. But other than that, it was good. I really had a good time. I still think the first one's better in my opinion, but yeah.
I had a good time. I was enjoying it, and if the ending, I was very dissatisfied with the ending. And if the ending were different, I'd be much more positive on it. But because the ending is the way it is, I think it's good. I had a good time.
Sparks?
I think this is a great Michael Myers movie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's a great Halloween movie. I feel like it's good. I'm in a very conflicted place because I know, and I've been critical, and I've been thinking about it for days, and I've even glimpsed through most of the movie a second time. Thanks. And I really enjoy the feel of so many things in this movie. And there's a lot of sequences I really love. There's some stuff here that there are things in general that, like, even as I knew I was dissatisfied with when I came out of the movie, I was like, I think I like this more than Halloween 2018.
Oh,
and I'm
wow.
like, why do I feel that? But that was
That's
just
awesome.
the feeling. That was the feeling. And I'm like, but I don't think that's true. I don't think I like the whole movie more. I just think I like things in this movie.
Well, that is the thing of a sequel, where a lot of times it's not better, but it has better sequences.
Yeah. And so I'm still not even at my final answer on some of these things, but I think there's a lot of good stuff here. I definitely don't think it's as garbage as a lot of people feel, especially like Halloween fanatics who are bouncing off of it. And I think bouncing off of it for the wrong reasons. And we'll get into that. But overall, I echo the ending. I think the ending is miserable. But other than that, I thematically, it's a mess. But impact-wise, there's something visceral to it that I really agree with.
Yeah.
I largely agree. I liked a lot of the elements in it, which is why I think my final review is I like the parts more than the whole.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I feel that's a big thing with this movie, because there are parts of this movie that are awesome, that are great Michael Myers moments, and I feel I didn't go back and listen to a review from Halloween 2018.
No, you should have stuck with it.
I should have.
You just say Halloween.
Yeah, from Halloween, were how inventive. I want to say the kills in the first one were very inventive. There were some pretty inventive kills here, albeit silly kills, like when he opens the door and the girl shoots herself in the throat.
That's not silly. That's incredible.
That's genius.
I still liked it. I thought that was a very inventive kill. That was it. Like the thing with Michael Myers is that it is a slasher movie, but it's not like he's constantly, yes, he's stabbing people, but he is stabbing people in a very, I don't want to call it
in a fun way.
I don't want to call it a fun way, but there's
it's
a
funny.
word there.
It's funny to me. It's funny to me and Zara as we're watching like Halloween 2018 and this one, where we're just like, it's interesting the people he chooses to pose. He's like has a little arts and crafts moments with his villain
somebody a podcast
people.
listened to described Michael Myers as very theatrical.
Yes.
And I'd be like, yeah, like he likes to have fun with his work, sure.
But yeah, so to kind of finish my initial thoughts, definitely kind of I like the parts more than its whole. Any sequel that you're doing is you're going into lore building. You know, you had your fun in the first film. You didn't really need to do a whole lot of building. Now you got the second one. You got to do some lore building.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, all in all, knowing that that Halloween Ends is coming does hurt that.
Yeah. If I did not know Halloween Ends was on the horizon, I feel that the end, because when a part of the movie where you get the townspeople, the survivors of Michael Myers, as now a second time, the survivors of Michael Myers surround him. It's like, oh, he dead.
I thought, yeah.
No way in hell he come out of that. And then he comes out of it.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis gives him an evil speech to resurrect him.
Yeah, she gives the speech. I'm actually okay with Laurie Strode being in the hospital 90% of the movie. I'm pretty okay with that.
A lot of people reacted really poorly to that.
Right.
And, yeah,
I'm okay with it, but at the same time, I'm gonna get my negatives out of the way right now because I want to talk more positive about this movie. The hospital scene where everyone starts chanting "Evil dies tonight." Take a shot every time someone says "Evil dies tonight." You're gonna be drunk.
Not even just "Evil dies tonight."
Dead.
Say, it dies tonight.
Yeah,
evil dies, or it dies, or he dies tonight.
I hate that. I really think that's. I don't know why I hate it. I just don't like it. It just doesn't feel organic. I mean, getting the townspeople together is like, we're going to fight this guy because this guy's been haunting our town for this long. I love that.
Yeah.
But the second they start chanting "Evil dies tonight," and it's like, oh, Lord.
See, I don't think the chanting is the problem.
Yeah.
I think the chanting makes sense.
Mob mentality is real.
It's the overuse of that line in too many other places.
Yeah.
Some places it belongs and some places it doesn't. It is in the movie too much.
And they're trying to tell you a message, but they hit you over the head with. And Thomas, what's his name? Tommy looks directly at the camera and says, "What if we're the monsters?" He looks directly at the camera and he says it to the audience, and I'm like, "That's a joke." But it's so direct in your face, and I'm like, "There's no subtlety with what you're trying to do here." Like,
it doesn't have any good, like, even as it's trying to say something about these things, and this is from their mouths. Like Jamie Lee Curtis and David Gordon Green have likened this to wanting to express things about Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement, and they've wanted to inject that into this film, and I'm like, that didn't work.
It didn't.
No. Your concept wasn't executed correctly.
Yeah.
No. And I agree. I think because we gotta do this in pieces. Like, I want to tackle the hospital, specifically the other patient. I think that's a big common issue.
Can I bounce off of what Ryan said about Tommy saying, looking right at the camera?
Mm-hmm.
Because you mentioned that Sparks, you mentioned that they don't really execute that kind of message. Well, the issue for me became that we're trying to inject this social commentary, and then Tommy's like, maybe we're the monsters, but it doesn't matter because they're just gonna go kill Michael Myers anyway. Like, they don't have any kind of come to God moment with that message. There's no reason for that message to be in the movie because you're not doing anything with it.
Right.
They're not conflicted. Yeah.
There's nothing that changes them about it. And like, there is an idea that I think is good in the sense of Michael Myers is fear.
He inspires
fear. Makes fear and makes us worse because of it. And I'll go even a step further of like how muddled it is because Tommy says at the very beginning, in a very confusing closure to his speech at the bar that the boogeyman is coming. He's coming for all of us. He's coming for you, and it might not be tonight. It might not be the next night, but we'll never give in to fear because we can rise above that. And I'm like, that's cool, but like that's not who Tommy is for the rest of the movie.
He
and like,
immediately
and like
counters
that doesn't gel.
Yeah.
And it's like all this like neat lines when you isolate them, but they don't work together.
Yeah.
I do think that there is a good core concept of that, again, like that concept that Michael Myers is fear.
Yeah.
And I think they just needed to cling to that rather than trying to dabble at all with people when they become mobs or monsters. Because I'm like, the issue with that is that Michael Myers is a monster.
Yeah.
And if he's a monster,
They try to personalize him.
the
in this.
only way that this works is if they actually killed him in the end.
Yeah.
That's the only way this works. Because otherwise the people are monsters thing. And honest to God, he killed so many people in so many brutal ways in this movie. I don't even think that still works. Because like you had someone who was an unstoppable force. This is not the Michael Myers of even the second one who murders a decent chunk of people. This is Michael Myers like almost killing a quarter of the town.
Yeah, he kills
like
So many
he
people
kills like
die.
10 firemen at the beginning, and then he kills like 10 people.
I don't know
in
if
that
they have
circle.
firemen anymore in
so-
Haddonfield. Like that.
So many people die in this movie. So many. There are so many bodies.
Oh yeah.
Just the body count is just astronomically high in this movie,
which is awesome. I will say, like, I think that's awesome. Like, it makes Michael scary. But the problem is that, like, again, if you're trying to bring in that message of like, what does he make us? What do we become?
Yeah.
It went in the wrong direction with it, and then it didn't commit.
100%.
And so that's the whole issue with that. So I want to bring that all back into focus and talk specifically about this because I do think it's one of the most controversial parts of the film, the other patient story. Because I think that is the thing that is trying to drive home that story. I don't think it inherently was a bad idea. I just think it was so sloppy in how it was included. You've got things like the elements of Tommy. Even like I get when the patients like they give into like people saying it's Michael and they just take it as hearsay and they all just start charging. But when Tommy lays eyes on him in the doors,
He should know.
He should know. And the worst part is when he's gone off the building, Tommy sees him on the ground and Karen's like, that wasn't Michael. And he's like, we don't know. We haven't seen him. And I'm like, Tommy, you know that's not Michael.
You're better than
No,
that.
he's super freaking tall.
Here's the worst reason about that.
Yeah.
It's because Tommy is literally in the earlier part of the film looking at the news thing, talking about this patient being one of the escape ones. And then they cut from that patient to Michael, who you can't see because they don't want you to see his face, but it is Michael. So you know he saw Michael's face.
Zara and I pointed that we're talking about that on the drive home. Tommy mistaking someone for Michael, anyone mistaking anyone, this other guy for Michael, doesn't make any sense because there are pictures of Michael Myers. He was just sitting in a psychiatric hospital for 60 years. Yeah. Someone took his picture.
Right. It doesn't work, and it doesn't work for Tommy, and I think it did work up until the point where Tommy got to it. And that whole thing gets so muddled. And like, unfortunately, I don't think it does anything for Karen. And Karen's thrust into that story.
She's wasted in this movie.
I don't think it benefits her character at all to do that. And that's a bummer.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the connective tissue exists between that and Karen seeing the image of young Michael at the end of the film.
Yeah.
I wish that bridge existed. It doesn't.
You brought up Karen. Massive downgrade. In the first movie, she's the gotcha moment.
So I want to, and I've thought about this a lot, and this is the thing, like I want to recontextualize this other patient scene because I think I saw the problem and like the big problem. Karen shouldn't have been at the hospital anymore. She should have gone with her daughter because we needed that connection, that relationship to matter more because Karen already didn't have enough time with her in the first film.
Yeah.
We needed more of that here, especially for what they were going to do in the ending.
Yeah.
So I'm bitter that didn't get to happen, that Judy Greer didn't get to flesh that out.
Yeah.
The other reason that should have happened, Laurie should have been in the Karen role with the other patient because Laurie has that observation.
Yeah.
Laurie making that speech at the end makes 10 times more sense because Laurie has now seen, without knowing what Michael's doing, without knowing what Michael's done, Laurie has a concept that she has to grapple with of what have I become because of Michael that is carrying over her trauma from the first film and looking at what has happened to this patient. And at least, even if it doesn't work for the whole town's story, it does make sense for Laurie's, if that's the case. Laurie should have been the person weighing the consciousness of this is because of the fear I brought to the town.
Yeah.
I brought this by what I kept alive for 40 years.
Yeah.
And that should have been the core theme of what was going on with that idea.
But you can't give her more stuff because you have to give it to the other new character.
Yeah,
Hawkins.
to the daughter.
But that's you could have had all that.
No,
like,
I know,
it's just taking Karen and putting her with her daughter and letting Laurie be the person who did that. Yeah. And I think that would have made the whole thing gel so much better. Because it would have put that focus on like Laurie's thematic arc. And again, like, it's so important to know that Laurie doesn't know how bad it is yet.
Yeah. And
so Laurie can kind of trick herself in like, did I make this worse? And is my trauma the problem?
And again,
she has a moment.
She can be wrong.
Yeah.
She has a moment where she sees it with Karen, where they kind of like, it's not him. It's not him.
Yeah.
It's not Michael. And she tries to stop people too, but then she's taken out of commission. You take Karen out of commission instead. You make a far more impactful story moment.
Right. You put Karen with her daughter. I think that needed to happen. I think Karen needed to be, once she knew her daughter was going to go, she should have gone too.
It feels like
I don't like the way that relationship was rubbed up against, considering where it's going to end. Karen should have been out there with her.
It feels like they wrote the end first. They're like, we know how we want the movie to end. How do we get there? Because like you have to have characters be in certain situations to get to the bad ending. Because otherwise, like, you'd have to change so much so that all that stuff doesn't happen.
Right.
I'm like,
but you can still have Karen there.
Yeah.
Because that does get her there. And like, it's worse in some ways knowing Halloween Ends is there, because I'm like, this is the end of that relationship. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
There was room in another film to have explored this thing, and we're leaving it dead on the floor.
Yeah.
Literally. That's a bummer. And I think that would have solved two birds with one stone. I would have felt better about the ending to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have felt better about the thematic story of, at least in the perspective of what we're going with Laurie. Laurie is allowed to feel at that point like maybe people have been driven too far. Maybe fear is the real monster and all that kind of stuff. And Michael be something worse than that. And Laurie be wrong in her observation because she's faking herself out about it.
Yeah. I want to flip-flop off a negative to a positive, then we can get back to a negative.
Absolutely.
Remember how we talked about how Daniel Craig, his best performance wasn't in the best Bond movie?
Yeah.
This is my favorite Michael Myers.
Yes.
His burnt face.
That's why I say it's a great Michael Myers.
Yeah, his burnt face is so scary. His kills are so scary. Like, him just doing his thing this whole movie, fighting a bunch of firemen, being maskless for like 20 minutes, like, and like never seeing his face.
And feeling tense.
I love that.
Really, like, I was definitely tense in this movie. And like, it's something like, the mob stuff takes you out of it, but like when Michael's doing his thing, like, I'm feeling it. This is a great Michael Myers.
And it's not just having great kills. Real quick, Ben, it's not just having great kills. It's the tension around and the energy of Michael throughout this movie feels like a force that I'm saying, as a person who's seen all the Halloween films, it never quite has reached this kind of level.
Yeah.
He feels pervasive and unstoppable in a way that like doesn't usually happen, and it's all the more impressive that he feels that way even without getting up to the point where people are literally like throwing everything they got at him and he's not stopping.
Yeah.
It's you just feel like he's unstoppable because of the energy of the scene around him.
Yeah.
Rather than like them having to physically like tell you with the action he's unstoppable.
I was really enjoying like the finale with him getting up and then just like revenge murdering everyone, and him and Tommy. And I kind of just wish it would end there.
I thought it was going to.
Yeah, I really did too.
I was hoping, but anyways, I want to talk about one of my favorite parts of the movie is the fact that we still don't see the actor playing Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Just like the first one, you don't see his face. You see bits of his head. You don't see his face.
You do get a clear look at his face in the first film, the original film. You do. It's for a couple seconds, but you see his face.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 2018 one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
you say original and my brain goes somewhere else.
My bad. I meant 2018. So like the 2018 one, you don't get a clear shot of his face.
No.
And I love that.
Just some 60-year-old man.
Because Michael Myers is the mask. He, like, when you say Michael Myers, you think of the knife and the mask. That's the thing you think about when you say that name.
Think of William Shatner.
And
beat me by that much.
that Kirk mask. But I actually agree. This is a great Michael Myers movie because his mask is burnt. The damage is there from the 2018 movie. He's ready to keep going out and just being
kind of
force.
I talked about it with like lore building. What it kind of does is move Michael Myers away from the They moved Michael Myers away from the supernatural element of him by erasing the other movies, and you kind of move Michael almost into that, but in a believable. In the first film, it's a 60-year-old man killing a bunch of people. In this one, he becomes an unstoppable kind of.
He gets shot a dozen. He gets shot a dozen times.
Oh, that dude should be dead.
This is definitely something else going on.
That dude got shot.
Yeah.
5 times.
So they move him. So they move him kind of back into that position of being the unstoppable Terminator that we've come to know him as, and I think it's in a really effective way.
Yeah, very, very much so. Also, no one in Haddonfield can shoot for shit.
No
one's been to the range at all.
Only Laurie.
I will say that works to the film's detriment that like they didn't want to hit too hard on like him getting through bullets. Like they wanted to be there but not be like overbearing. And it's a problem that like so many members of the town feel like they can go at him after everything he's done with blunt weapons.
Yeah,
just a bat. Yeah,
it's like I have a baseball bat. It's like, nah, dude, you need a shotgun.
Tommy needs to be coming in there with an axe.
Yeah,
he had time. He had time to go get an axe.
I mean, okay, I do like how at the beginning when the firefighters see Michael Myers, because I was watching the movie with Fanny, and there's a lot of people were talking about this, or they were like the quiet murmurs of my movie experience, where people were like, "Oh, they got axes. He's rude." And then of course he just murders all the firemen because you see the firemen, you see them, and they just grip their axe because they know they're in for a fight. And Michael Myers still just plows through them. And I do like how we don't see. I mean, I haven't seen the other. I've only seen the original and the original second one. I haven't seen anything past that in the original Halloween films. So I like how it's alluded in these films that there is a supernatural element, because this is a man, a true form of evil, who bleeds and gets shot and just keeps getting up. He is that final boss in a game that you just like sitting there. Is like, why won't you die?
So the whole thing is like, once you hit Halloween 2, the original, the concept of Michael Myers never really, even if they explore the origin more, it never really changes from the fact that Michael Myers is just meant to be evil incarnate.
Mm-hmm.
He is just meant to be that.
Yeah.
That is all that is supposed to be him, and that's why it's not supposed to be anything like more than that. They do explain like more at a certain point in 6.
People
but, like,
build like
you don't
around him.
you don't need to like grab more onto it other than to say like he's just evil.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the concept. Now,
or what if he was a 6-year-old boy?
So this is another one of my problems with this film, is that they start to like dabble into exploring a deeper concept, which I'm actually on board with for the idea of it, because this is something I told Ryan, Megan, and I when we watched the original film a few months ago. I watched it trying to put it into the context of the only sequel to this is the Hollow Green and this one.
Mm-hmm.
And if I look at it in that context, I'm like, why does Michael pursue Laurie so specifically?
Yeah.
If she's not his sister, what is the reason? And I saw in the original film where this wasn't the intention of John Carpenter, but like if you are trying to put it through that lens, what you can see is there is an opportunity for it to be this. There is something so special about the opening of Halloween that the second film and none of the sequels really have a good answer for, and this could. Even now it still could, but and it's the shot when Michael comes out of the house after killing his sister at the beginning, and his parents take the mask off him, and he's just standing there without the mask on, stunned. Carpenter thought of something is behind that moment, but none of the movies after really run with what is the intention of that. If you isolate the original to this continuity, then in the original, Michael goes back to Myers' house. That's where he goes directly. He gets there first. And he stands in the same window where he killed his sister, and he looks out that window, and the first person he sees is Laurie. And you could make an argument that Michael is trying to analyze that traumatic moment of his life where he did this, and why did he do this? What was this horrible mistake? Because there is a reasonable path of like, did Michael do a bad thing? Yes, but was Michael necessarily evil incarnate, or was being locked away immediately after he did it and being told by Dr. Loomis, you are evil incarnate, the thing that made him that?
Yeah.
And that's something that could be explored here, but like the film has such a muddled script about how they want to tackle that, because you have Officer Hawkins saying both he is evil completely.
But
And
also-
he's a 6-year-old boy
Yeah.
wanting to look at his own reflection and trying to see something in himself. And
What
I'm
is
like,
it?
he can't be both from the perspective of one character. He can be both from the perspective of multiple
Different
characters
characters.
talking about him in the film,
Yeah.
but he can't be both from the perspective of one person.
Yeah.
And
There's
that's where it gets really weird. Like, they're clearly trying to allude to something with the window moment.
Yeah.
But I don't think they know what.
They're
And-
saving it for the next movie.
And I don't I don't think it's executed well because I don't think they know what. And it doesn't feel like it in the script.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brandon.
I forgot. Sorry.
I agree. I'm cool with the idea of exploring the origin of Michael, or like, is it supernatural? Is he just like, he's just really tough and evil? Like, that, I'm cool with that. But like, again, they're picking one side,
Is
but then
he
immediately
himself haunted by trauma?
Yeah. They're like, oh, he's a child, but also he's pure evil. Like, you can't be both. You got to pick one.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember what I was going to say. In the movie, what I did appreciate is kind of the different stories about Michael's quote unquote obsession with Laurie. Judy Greer believes that Michael came searching for her,
Yes.
hunting her, but her daughter was like, no, it was the doctor who put him on Laurie's path. Like, it was the
Yeah.
only reason why they came together.
he is a force that like
Yeah.
gets put in a direction.
Yeah, I like the idea that he doesn't give a shit who Laurie is. I still hold that he does kind of recognize her, but I don't think he cares.
I think for Michael Myers, like when you were saying about what, like, Laurie was the first one he saw, so he's just like, kill. Like, he kills indiscriminately. He sees people, he's like, time to die.
My whole thing was like, it's like she survived and he doesn't like that.
Yeah.
That could be
Because he
the
picked up something about Laurie because he
Yeah.
did everything on a path towards her.
Yeah.
So in the original.
Yeah.
But I agree with what Brandon's saying. Like, I do like the idea that there is this idea of the dual narratives. And I like the idea that where Michael's actually going is the house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it got interrupted.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's clean in this movie.
Back to a positive. I love all the 1978 footage.
100% agree.
It almost looks like it could have been actually shot at that time. It looks so good.
Saying as having watched it on my TV here, it looks exactly the equal level of watching the original
Of like
in
that
4K
film grain.
here.
Yeah.
They look the same.
It's very
Legitimately, until I saw the actor, I was like, this is a scene from the 78 film.
yeah.
And then I saw who they cast as a young Hawkins. I was like, oh my god, this looks incredible.
And then you got a Loomis. I'm guessing
The way that the how did they do the Loomis?
So Loomis is, I
prosthetics.
looked into it. Loomis is their art director for the film. He happened to bear a similar resemblance, just a little, to Donald Pleasance.
Nice.
So they did some prosthetic work to make him look more like him. And then there's someone imitating Loomis's voice who imitated Loomis's voice for the previous film.
Okay.
love
That's
it.
so good.
Yes.
I mean,
but it's all prosthetic work on top of a person who already looked kind of similar.
I'm not gonna lie, when Loomis shows up on screen, I was like, this is like the best CG deepfake I've ever seen.
I thought it's CG.
Yeah.
Since we're bringing up the 1978 footage, I want to bring up an argument that I think is
Oh
woefully-
my god, he does look like him.
Oh damn!
Yeah, the art
He
director.
really does look
He
like
does.
Loomis.
Yeah, so they just did an amount of prosthetic work to make him look a little more like him, and I think that's incredible.
That-
it looks great.
It does.
They didn't do a lot. It's crazy.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Talking about the 1978 footage, this is an argument against the film that I've seen out there that I think is absolutely just moronic and stupid, and I've seen it coming from like Halloween purists and fanatics who are just really upset, and they hate that this movie like does a lot of things that the original sequel does. They're like, this moment's like Halloween 2 and it's doing this thing like Halloween 2. And I'm like, I get that. Heck out of here. It's plenty different enough. Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
But this one in particular, like, really pissed me off where they are mad that they show flashback footage for the sheriff to him seeing Annie's body because that footage comes from Halloween 2, a film that doesn't exist in this canon. And I'm like,
It's the same
it
night.
doesn't have to exist in this canon, but it still can be the moment that he saw his daughter. That doesn't freaking change. Like, just because that movie doesn't exist in the canon,
It happened.
that's a stupid thing to get upset about.
If they're Halloween purists, they would know that it takes place on the same night. So
They do know.
it'd be in the
They
first
do
movie
know. They
still.
just are mad because it's
That's
like
so dumb.
because that movie was wiped from continuity, and like ultimately, it's a thing that they don't like. That 2018 decided to wipe Halloween 2.
I get it.
They wish that it was a follow-up to that one. And I'm like, fine. It is stupid to just be like, well, that's footage from a movie that doesn't exist in this timeline. I'm like, cool. Like, I mean, it's still
That character died.
It's still that actor. They have the footage of that young actor seeing his character's daughter, like, why wouldn't you use it? That's just dumb.
Yeah.
That is so dumb.
I will-
like, the dumb things that people choose to get upset
So,
about with this movie.
I will piggyback my positive with one of my negatives, and I don't think you guys will agree strongly, but I liked Hawkins in the first movie. I feel like Hawkins is a distraction from Laurie and Judy Greer and all that stuff. And like I liked all the 78 stuff, but his like, so I am so now part of this story. I am the reason Michael Myers is this way. Like for me, it took away from the original cast in a way where if the stuff was better, I'd like it. But because where this movie is and where the next movie's going, I'm like, I wish it would have focused more on the family stuff personally.
I will present a counter in the sense of, I think Hawkins his backstory is a good inclusion. Mm-hmm. I think that, again, just like other things in the script, Hawkins' whole thing gets kind of muddied and messy, and I don't think it's clean. And I don't think that it's saying the things about the character it should necessarily in the world the way I want it to. However, I will push back on, I think it's actually great that we see that he's the reason Michael isn't dead, that he stops Loomis from shooting him in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, whether or not that would kill him, who knows. But, like, the fact that he's the person who stops Loomis, because Loomis was adamant Michael Myers needed to be killed that night. And the only reason in old continuity of Halloween that Michael Myers isn't killed that night is because they're pretty sure they killed him in the hospital in the sequel. That's the only reason that Loomis lets up, is because he's pretty sure Michael is dead. So Loomis was so adamant in the original that Michael Myers needed to be killed, not captured. So to have this continuity where he's been in prison for all this time, you would have to address on some point why Dr. Loomis allowed that to happen.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I do like that they provide a nice, clean window into not just we're showing you, here's the reason, but also made it a character beat.
Okay.
I think that is good. How it's interwoven into his involvement and his guilt about the story and what that means to Laurie, not as good.
I think that's what I'm rubbing up against.
That's what I rub it up against too. The actual flashback,
the actual
footage,
event I like.
I think is great.
Yeah. Again, like, I would watch a whole 1978 movie.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's so silly. I could just watch, I think, Halloween, right?
There's a scene in the trailer where we see the boy who falls over. Lonnie. We see him in the trailer, and I just thought that was footage from the 78 film. Mm-hmm. That's how good that looked.
They do a great job. Like the kids from the 78 film feel like they have the dialogue and the cadence of like the bullying that was in those movies. Like it really does feel like footage from that night.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out, while we're still on the 78 stuff, one of my favorite shots in this whole movie, and it's cheap, it's easy, but it's great, is the mirroring of Michael with all the cops in front of the house when they capture him, because it's the exact same shot when the mask is taken off of him. No, when the mask is taken off of him as a little boy.
Oh,
it's the same shot in front of the house. They pull out the same way. It's the exact same shot. I think that's beautiful. I think that's really cool.
I love it. Yeah.
We were talking about Hawkins when he awoke from his death. I was really excited because I was always sad that character died in the first film, the last film.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, all right, he made it.
I didn't rewatch it, so I forgot. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, because I remember the friend died in a very brutal way, but I forgot the boyfriend didn't die. Mm-hmm. And then
that too.
Yeah, and then he
made it to the sequel. But to talk about Hawkins, like I really liked him coming back to life, and I was super into that. And then they just don't really do a lot with him after that to kind of make that work. And I hope that the next one, because he is still on the board, I hope that the next one really gives him more.
So I feel like this is both like a detriment to the film, but also I think one of the best choices it makes. Laurie and Frank Hawkins can only do so much because they were so severely injured in the previous movie, which, to the movie's credit, I'm really grateful for, because slasher movies don't do this a lot. Almost never. Usually, like, I need to heal from that stab wound is like, good, here we go. I gotta fight the killer again. Like Laurie could easily do it. The fact that they hold on like a surgery moment for Laurie and its consequences, like this feels, it makes it feel more visceral. It makes Michael feel more powerful against them, because it's not something they can just bounce back from. They don't have that ability. And Hawkins was really badly injured in that 2018 film. So the fact that he has to be out of commission on the bed, I'm ultimately grateful for, because it adds to the realism of it. I still just think his dialogue bits with Laurie and how he's pushing he feels like he's supposed to be the mouthpiece, especially because we open the film with him.
He's like the lore piece
of the analysis of Michael, and it's through him that it feels too muddy.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. But I ultimately am grateful for like what role they're doing, in the sense of like they make Michael feel truly daunting.
Yeah.
Because the heroes can't just bounce back.
The continuity between both films really impresses me. They line up so perfectly, having not been shot back to back. When we see Hawkins in that way, the fact that the boyfriend is in a dress the entire movie, they never kind of give him a moment to change, because he ended that movie in a dress, so he's going to be in the whole movie in a dress. I like the commitment to that kind of. We're keeping it. If you watch them back to back, it would be seamless.
Yeah.
Yes. I agree. I think the continuity is really strong. Some of the positives I definitely want to lay out. I love the return of some of our favorite.
Oh my God, what's the
characters.
kid's name? Julius? What's his name?
Julian.
Julian?
Julian on the news. Go Julian.
yeah.
My number one babysitter
So happy
died.
he's there. My number one babysitter was killed. You go up there, Dave. You're gonna die.
I
so
forgot
happy
about him.
So happy to see Julian. It's
think
a little moment, but it's.
I think the
wonderful.
comedy in this movie for me really does work.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I think when it hits really well. I think there's a lot of good uncomfortable comedy and good comedy. The use of Lindsay is great. I'm glad she isn't killed in this movie. I'm glad she's still out there.
Yeah.
Her moment hiding from Michael by the water.
Scary.
Oh yeah.
So tense. So good. I've seen people liken it to the hobbits hiding under the.
Oh, that's
what
I 100%.
Yeah,
thought that
everyone's
in
The
my
like,
brain.
oh,
second
it's
she
that.
got under that truck, I was like, that was cool.
Yeah.
It's great. It's got that energy. It feels
I
really uncomfortable.
Love, and it's controversial on the internet. I found out I love Big John and Little John.
I love Big John and Little
I
John too.
was
Me too.
shocked to find people
How
find
is
that
Big
offensive
John-
and gross.
How
And
are
I'm like,
Big John, Little John?
I
I
don't.
love those guys.
I-
I feel bad for them.
They were just people having fun, smoking weed on Halloween. I don't know what's gross or offensive about
Like,
that
I
at all.
love
I
how
don't
they
get it.
how they have like this thing as like Big John
And Big
Little
John's small. That's the joke.
I think
Yeah,
I think
that is a joke. But also, you like when they're talking, like when they're in the house and there's like someone's in the house and like they know the house they live in, like they know who lives there.
They have
or
such good
used to live
chemistry.
there.
Yeah.
They're great.
Like
Yeah.
when they get the kids and the kids like do that prank to steal the rest of their candy and then it's like Michael Myers and they're trying to scare them.
I love Big John and Little John. I love that Michael Myers has now been confirmed to be a pro-queer relationships, because he sets them up in their romantic post from their photos.
does!
He's like, hey, I respect it.
Dude.
I killed you, but I respect it.
I stabbed you. I stabbed the shit out of you.
Uh, The second that I saw Michael McDonald, who was on Mad TV and like the Austin Powers movie, he's like a big comedian from the 90s. And I'm like, David Gordon Green just called one of his friends, like, do you want to be in my Halloween movie? And I'm like, hell yeah. They're so good.
They
so
have
fun.
a great scene. I think the kids are great too. The kids feel like very modern, true to life kids. It doesn't feel hammed up.
Oh,
nor
the
does it
season of
feel-
the Witch Kids?
Nor does it feel pulled back. The season of the Witch Kids.
Yeah, I
to pull
love
a prank on them. The scene where they are scaring them is very good by telling them the story about Michael Myers that they don't know, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I love Big John and Little John. I thought they were very effective. I have to imagine that part of it is just being upset that we introduce queer characters
And they die.
kill them.
I guess.
And I'm like,
yeah.
most people die in these movies. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
that's-
cool that
if
they're
You
here.
introduce people. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little shocked when they when they introduced the doctor and the nurse
Mhm.
in the beginning of the movie, and I'm thinking I'm kind of hoping these guys live, and then they're dead 20
This
minutes
is
in.
this is the 12th Halloween movie with Michael Myers in it. The fact that this is the first time we've really gotten a queer relationship featured. I like the fact that they get murdered. I don't think is an issue.
Not at all.
It's
yeah.
just good that they were.
It's
They're in the movie a lot.
It's
Yeah.
in a Michael. You're in a slasher movie. I'm pretty at this point in time. If you're in a slasher movie, you're fair game.
Yeah, man.
It's,
Doesn't matter.
It's hard not being with you guys. You guys got the chemistry. You just won't stop. There are 2 points that you kind of pass through that I want to touch on, if you don't mind. The house. I really appreciate differentiating it from the rest of the Halloween franchise. Having the house be occupied and lived in. All of Halloween is the house is decrepit and torn down and like. And I like that the idea that someone did move in, someone who knew and didn't care that they did move in and kind of made it a home. That was a nice touch.
Well, yeah, murder houses are actually really cheap.
Yeah.
You buy a house that where someone was murdered in it. Those are actually the cheaper houses
I
because
would-
they're harder to sell.
I'd buy it.
And then the other one is the doctors. When they showed up, I was really happy that I watched Halloween 2018 because I was like, oh, they're the two who narrowly missed Michael Myers.
Yes, I saw that in the 2018 one too. I thought that was really cheeky, nice follow up.
I should have watched.
There is a couple. There was a couple like very quick 2018 references. Like there's one of the kids who died, and his mom is like trying to find him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you see his body
Oscar,
for half a
yeah,
second.
Yeah.
And it's like if you didn't rewatch that movie, you'd forget who this guy is.
You see his body at the beginning when Cameron's calling him.
Yeah,
right,
he's on the fence, and then you see because when his mom shows up and she sees him in the corners.
But it's easy to forget when she's looking for him and saying Oscar that's him.
Yeah.
Because like you hear his name once in this movie before that moment, and then and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
For Ben, the sequence where they're introducing Halloween 2018 is the beginning of the one take where Michael kills a bunch of people in the different houses. They get into their car going to a karaoke night. And then Michael watches them leave and then goes to kill their next one.
Which is where they're going.
He does say that that's our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because the doctor says this is, or the guy playing the doctor who's really a nurse.
Yes.
And I like how the wife is the nurse and she's really the doctor.
That was really good.
That was a good joke. Because he's like, yo, that's that kid from across the street. Yo, this is shit.
I like those two characters until for some reason the wife just disappears for 10 minutes while her husband is killed.
Yeah.
I thought that was really strange. She gets out of the car and like he yells, shoot him, but she's gone. And then she's walking back to the car to shoot him before she's in a brilliant kill, shot in the face. But I just thought that was really interesting that she's just like gone.
I appreciate the note that Lindsay, again, great. Annie, is Annie, right? The nurse from the original at the beginning. And Lonnie does live there. But Annie and Lindsay come from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't stay in Haddonfield.
They should have.
This is a reunion, 40-year reunion moment for them.
Yeah.
Is a part of the dialogue that they're coming back together as survivors.
Just,
and that's why Tommy's moment feels more appropriate rather than out of the weird blue.
Yeah.
It's them kind of attributing to that.
Yeah, like seeing the footage of them as kids and then their interaction with Michael Myers in the original
I
movies.
would not be surprised if they invited Laurie earlier on, but like things had happened. Like Laurie might have even shown up.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're in touch.
Yes.
Yeah, because so seeing that part, at first I'm like, this is a weird story of like the boogeyman, and then when we see them as kids, it's like, oh, I get it. So,
I still think of that like. I think the movie worked overall, but I still remember that the second trailer that we saw where it's like the survivors of Michael and just boom, boom, boom. I'm like, oh shit.
Oh yeah,
I think
remember that.
For the most part, it capitalized on that.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's a shame that the nurse got killed in such a similar situation to the situation she was attacked in before. But ultimately, I'm just glad to have her. I thought that was really great. I love that Michael killed the skeleton kid. Straight up murdered him.
Oh yeah.
And the kids realize like, is that Adrian's mask?
Oh my God,
love
like,
those kids.
That's the energy. Like that is exactly modern kid energy when it's like, oh, there he is. Oh, hello, mister. Like, I'm like, that is exactly how kids their age talk today.
And then the horrible realization that that's their friend's mask bleeding. He did.
Yeah.
He did.
I hate the ending, guys.
Yeah, so do I.
It really, really bums me out. And I think
I'm really glad. Oh, can I just say I'm really glad we're in agreement on that? Because I came out of that being like, oh man.
Yeah. And that's really what it's what soured me most on the movie is the ending. Because like there's some stuff in the middle, but like it wasn't that bad for me.
So do you want to say more first?
Yeah, just real quick. I would be fine with the choice they made if this were made at the beginning of the next movie. Because then the stakes are set.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a cliffhanger. And like the context between the characters isn't even there. So like what feels like a cool moment is only cool for one of the characters.
I'll say exactly what I said to Ryan when we came out of it, which is that my problem with it is that Halloween films tend to end on an emotional downbeat. So even if it's like something shocking has happened, it's the emotion of the reaction that we end on. Like the perfect example of this, it cannot get better, is Halloween 4 when Loomis sees that Laurie's daughter has stabbed somebody, and he sees that, and he's looking up the stairs and he's shouting, "No,
Michael!
no!
Michael! No!"
And that's, it cuts on that emotional beat of Loomis seeing that. That is usually generally, even like the worst Halloween films end on that kind of an emotional reaction to something.
Yeah.
And this one is framed like, get hyped, Godzilla's gonna fight Kong in the next one.
Yeah.
Oh boy, is he? And I'm like, wow, we're really just devoid of that. And the solution to me is just the ending should have been Laurie finding out Karen was killed through a phone call, whatever. And those two moments didn't need to be like happening at the same time. You could think that when Laurie's
she can even be on the phone.
You could think that when Laurie's giving the speech. So we'll talk about that. But you could think that while Laurie's giving the speech and we're seeing Michael kill her is happening at the same time, and then you find out at the end that Laurie is finding out that happened already in the night, and she's reacting to it, and it's her despair that we end
her
on.
breakdown.
And that is the way that the movie should. And honestly, if you had that little change, it would fix it for me, because I need that emotional reaction now.
Yes.
That's what I need to punch me and hold me over.
Because
instead of this, like, get pumped, next time it's personal.
Because at the end of it, you have Michael Myers staring out a window and you have Laurie staring out a window. They're not thinking about the same things.
No.
This isn't episode 3, Anakin and Padme thinking about each other across space. They are having different conversations right now, but we're supposed to feel the impact.
When it happened, I thought it was a dream. Like, I thought she was hallucinating Michael there.
Yeah.
Because the way it's like, the way the music kind of frames it, the way the sound effects are going, like, I thought it was like, you know, she's so engrossed in seeing whatever he is meant to be seeing through this window that she imagines him coming up from behind her, and like it would cut with like not him there.
The other one that we said was this is leaning more towards Ryan, that she would be there, she'd be at the window, she'd be like taking in the moment. So that's something that about the little boy standing there, because she sees him and imagines him. For
why
some reason,
though?
Like that isn't clear, because again, the whole messaging of that point in this film is messy. If she did that and she took that moment, she breathed in, she saw her own reflection, then it looks past her reflection, and Michael's down on the street staring up at her because she thinks he's been killed.
Mm-hmm.
And that alone, if you end on that beat and she goes, and then it cuts. Like, that also would have worked.
Absolutely.
Again, it's an emotional reaction downbeat that we need, but we're not given that. We're given this, like, pumped up, like, oh, they gonna fight. Like, I don't give a shit.
And it sucks, too, because it's an immediate death of like, one of your main characters. Then it's immediate Kong versus Godzilla. There's no time to experience the death that just happened.
No, it's so, it feels rushed.
I feel bad for that character.
I do too.
Like,
I feel bad for Judy Greer, because that character, that it's also a bummer that they killed her, because she's not utilized well in this film. Yeah. That's also a note about it, but that wouldn't be anywhere near as problematic if the emotional reaction to her death was in the movie, was in the text of it, happened on screen. I told Ryan in the original script notes, apparently what originally was going to happen is that Laurie was going to be on the phone with Karen when she was murdered, and she was going to hear it happen, and then she was going to hear Michael pick up the phone and breathe into it. But they decided not to do that, because it was too similar to the original, which is where Linda gets murdered while she has the phone around her neck, and Laurie thinks that she's having sex when she called her, and then Linda dies, and then Michael breathes into the phone and hangs out.
It's crazy that they're scared to make homages in a movie that does a bunch of homages to other movies. That's silly to me.
It's just, I think this is the best character that Judy Greer has played in many years. She often gets just to be the mom role in many movies, and to give her that starring role, I think honestly it's a disservice to her how good she was in that last film. And she's still good in this movie. She's just underutilized.
And again, like,
it's just a disservice to lose that character.
She is like such like a hard ass in that first movie, and she's like that final confrontation is like awesome. It is so cool.
Like when she says "gotcha" and pulls the trigger, I'm like,
I didn't feel that character in this movie at all.
Not even close.
Right.
I was hoping.
And again, I think this was a problem of not having her like throw out your original plan. Like, you got to get on this and live in the moment that's happening.
Yeah.
That she didn't go be with her daughter. That wasn't a plot of the movie. Once she realized that she left, why she didn't go out there and be with her, like that's where we needed the Karen development. We needed her to be doing that.
Yeah,
she ended up being the character that we all thought she was in 2018. Like, you know, the character that she kind of puts on for her family life that she sheds when she's fighting Michael.
Yeah.
She just becomes just that initial character. and that's such a shame.
Just to freak out mom. Yeah.
Yeah, but you want more from. You got that moment where she sheds that character. You want more from that.
Yeah.
And you don't get it. Even the way she stabs Michael is just kind of like, eh.
Yeah, it's not
just-
like
it just-
all of her power that she had is missing.
And like again,
Yeah.
it would have been so much more like it would have made more thematical sense with where you would have positioned Laurie again with the patient thing and all that if Karen had been gone during that moment. If they hadn't necessarily like Karen has this line at earlier in the film where she says, "My mom put us in his path."
Yeah.
She says that about, and like that kind of vibe being her vibe, and she goes to be with her daughter. And so when she dies at the end of this movie, her and her mom, who have been unresolved forever, remain unresolved permanently.
Yep.
And that's where that should have stayed. And Karen should have been in a good spot with her daughter, but not necessarily with her mom. And that would leave Laurie in this place of like this aching responsibility. Whether or not that's accurate, like that's the feeling that she'd come away with, and that's where we should be sitting at. And it's just so unfortunate that the movie just totally whiffs Karen's whole story.
And again, because like this is planned to be a trilogy, like they wanted the final movie to be Laurie v. Michael.
Yeah.
So they have to kill the cast in the second movie.
Yeah.
And they have to leave the main character franchise on the sidelines to set her up for the last movie, Endgame style. I don't know if it was worth it.
No, I think like
I don't know if it's worth it either because I'm pretty sure we're losing Laurie in the next movie.
Oh,
I think there was a clean path to kill Karen in this movie. I just think that we just didn't get it. There was a way to do it and have it land and work and give Karen her arc and give her presence and make it so that we felt that and that emotional pain was felt between us and between the characters, and they just totally missed that opportunity.
Yeah.
Having said that, different part of the film, I think this film also does an exceptionally good job, not just as showing how these characters are physically trying to recover, but the mourning. It provides actual moments for people to grieve.
Yeah.
Even if it's in between lines. And that's also something so rare in these films.
She talks about like her dead husband.
There's that for Karen. Karen gets some good moments, but one of the ones that really stood out to me because it was so sharp, so pointed and small, was when Cameron's dad, is talking about going out on the boat with her dad while she's in the back seat. And it's funny. And then she immediately goes from laughing at the story to being sad because her dad was killed.
Yeah.
And then she has to pull herself out of it because they found where Michael is. Or they found Lindsay's car. And that is so good. That kind of moment is so easily passed over. And I think that vibe is present in this film. And again, it adds to the ferocity of Michael.
I really like Lonnie in this movie a lot.
I did too.
Like he's not in it a lot, but like I felt like he felt like a real dude. And like I like that like all of our main characters, like our main characters, like the townspeople, they don't get like super glorious kills sometimes. Like Michael just kills people, and like if you're famous or not, you're gonna die in a way. Like he's just dead up in the attic. Like we don't see how it happens. It's like, oh, he got him. That sucks. And like
one of the things I really like about this movie is the nobody has plot armor.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, Laurie only does because she's not in his path. But if she was, I could believe that she could die because he kills the survivors of Michael Myers, and that's a really that sends a signal to the audience that like if he can kill these legacy characters, nobody is safe. So if he's in his path, you're probably not going to make it.
Yeah. And I was talking to Sparks now. Like, what is the future? What is the next movie going to be then? Is it just going to be Michael and Laurie fighting? Because like you got to have a whole movie. Like we speculated they're going to do a lot more
Freddy versus Jason style. Laurie Strode. Shotgun.
I think we will be getting a lot more flashback stuff in the next movie.
I again I like the core thought of Michael being this person who in his own demented way is also traumatized and analyzing it and trying to recover from it. And if you wanted to leave that as part of the core of who he is in the next film, I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I just hope that the script tackling it is stronger. That's what I suspect. I have a couple of other quick notes. Go ahead.
If I may, one of the things I really like about Laurie's character in this one, I understand why you shelve her for so long, but I do like that we get moments of exposition where she talks about how she tried in her life. She tried to have a family, she tried to get over it, but she could never. And that kind of makes me think that now that you brought up that we'll get flashbacks we'll probably get flashbacks in the next one, that we could see her try to reconcile with what happened with Michael, maybe even visit him in the psychiatric hospital early days, and try to like get a rise out of him to try to
that's actually-
understand.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, like a flashback, like 1985. She goes and visits him once just to see what's up. Yeah.
Just to try to find closure, because like maybe a therapist, like you need to confront the monster, the boogeyman.
I will say, the trajectory of this movie makes me worried for the next one, because I don't want them to try to do messages in this movie anymore. Like you can do that in movies, but like you have to be really good at it.
The politics were the problem.
They
got in the way of what was probably a good emotional thematic character story. But because they stuffed those politics in, it made it all messy and it didn't work.
Like honestly, pick out that middle chunk with like the Everyone Dies Tonight stuff. Like Michael's just killing folks. Like it's a good Halloween movie for like a lot of it. And then like it's all the extra stuff. I'm like, oh, like,
honestly, an incredible Halloween movie.
Yeah, I really again like the little
amazing score. We didn't talk about, but amazing score.
I've been wanting to
John
talk
and
about
his
that
son,
the whole time. Oh my
Cody
God.
Carpenter, what a guy.
So
the whole intro bit with like all the pumpkins on fire, so good.
And the choir.
Oh, I
yeah,
love it.
I think that adding you add a choir to anything, things get 10 times more spooky. But I love how like with Halloween, you have the pumpkin that's already rotted, and then it comes and it's reversed and it's played in reverse to become fresh again. I love that. But I think that's like my favorite opening. Just with you see the one pumpkin and then and all the other pumpkins, and they all just start bursting into flame.
Hell
and
yeah.
Or the candle, there's just fire coming out of it. I love it so much. I think just all the music in this movie, and including the main theme with the choir, is just awesome.
Oh yeah, 100% agree.
Like I feel like this. I mean, yes, it's a Halloween theme. You can't go wrong with the classic Halloween theme. But the fact they added to it with the choir and they made it a little subtle here and there, it's like just makes it just impacts even more.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost song in the credits that the band did,
Hunter's
so good.
Yeah, 100% unexpected. Totally loved it.
Totally
the thing
welcome.
That's really cool. I'm gonna bring up Halloween 2018 because this is something that I watched the video essay on and I thought it was really, really great. I'm sure you guys know this already. In that movie, John Carpenter and his son did the score, but all the stuff with the younger generation stuff is Cody and all the older stuff is John. There's a point in the movie where Allison finally meets Michael for the first time and the boogeyman becomes a real man and the John Carpenter score turns into the Cody Carpenter score midway through the movie when she finally meets Michael. And I watched that scene and I'm like, holy, this is awesome. And this is not something that can happen in like movies all the time because fathers and sons don't get to work together like this.
Right.
And this movie is a pure synergy of both of their collaboration talents. And I'm like, God, the score is so good.
Yes,
oh my God,
it's incredible.
It's so good.
Box, you said you had notes though.
Yeah, I actually did end up covering a lot of them, but I did want to talk about one. I think it is a disservice, especially knowing where the film ends up, because Michael can just survive things. But they wanted to stay in that realm of realism. So in the beginning, when he's in the fire, we find out that he was able to hide behind a little metal door that apparently would appear to be some kind of fireproof or something. And for Laurie to have had her plan and that exist is boneheaded dumb. And I hate it. I'm like, he could have just put him behind anything and I would have been like, of course he survived, he's Michael Myers, I don't give a shit. Like, why did we have to make Laurie seem stupid?
Laurie's 40-year plan. Oops, had a door that was
like, if it was a metal door, he would have burned it and he would have been fried like an oven, but that's not the point. But yeah, you see a fireproof door.
The implication of it is like, this is how I'm alive because I hid.
It was like a garage door.
On,
Like if he just like came out of the side.
You're right.
Of
like
a
eventually
pillar,
it would have cooked him, but like you didn't need it.
Yeah, like the second the firefighter comes down, if he would have just like turned around and saw, sweet, I would have been.
Yeah, he just comes out of the smoke.
Like one of the things I love about a positive about this movie is that it takes place directly after the end of the first one. Because after the end of the first one, I thought, how he can't live. He's dead. He's gonna burn alive. He's trapped. There's no way in hell he's gonna get out.
There was the garage door.
And then
you have so many Michael Myers movies to see.
I know. No shit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, here this movie takes place right after the first one. You see the firefighters go by. You see the firefighters. You see him get out. It's like, okay, that makes sense. That is like.
But honestly, if I didn't see it and I just saw him walking down the street with a scarred mask, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense.
Like him just walking out of the house, like. I know he survived. I don't need to see everything.
But again, like it's based in that idea of like, well, we want to make this not feel like a supernatural Michael Myers.
Yeah.
until the end of the movie when they are like,
No, he got shot 10 times and stabbed 6 times. Yeah.
That's
He
the,
got,
that's the
like,
thing. Like, I don't mind it. I don't mind that he has that moment where he gets shot a bunch of times and stabbed
No,
and
I
is
love it,
okay. I don't mind that. It's just that if the movie is so insistent that it needs to be based in realism because he's not the supernatural Michael Myers, then you got to keep that through line. You can't just be like, oh, except for now.
And I think the next movie is going to explore more of maybe the supernatural stuff about him. I don't know which direction they're going to go, but you do not make the end of this movie with him getting shot a dozen times, stabbed, his neck stomped on, and he survives, and he's a normal human.
Yeah.
There's no, this is the real world. If you're gonna make a real world movie, this isn't real anymore.
He
you know?
got a pitchfork just hit him in his back.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure one of those got him in the spine. He shouldn't be able to move.
Yeah,
Wouldn't be the first time I've watched Michael Myers survive a pitchfork.
Yes, exactly. But those movies maybe were a little more supernatural.
I mean, 4 and 5. I mean, like in the sense that he was unkillable. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, right, but it's the insistence of this movie to say that like this is the real world until it
Oh,
doesn't.
so-
6-year-old boy.
No, wait. Like 4 is the one where he's like starting to possess his niece.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's pretty supernatural.
And I don't like if you want to go the supernatural route, I don't care. It's just it's not even pick an avenue. Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
And again, like it all feels like it's muddied in that idea of like, well, we want to have this social political commentary, and we need the mob to do that, and the mob's only a reasonable threat of like what are we if you believe that Michael can be killed by them.
Yeah.
And you didn't need that. You just didn't need it. That kind of like that political commentary belongs somewhere. I don't think it belongs in a Halloween movie.
I mean, I'll tell you what they are. They're cannon fodder.
Yeah.
They're just like more kills for Michael.
I think the mob mentality thing is a powerful thing. I just don't think that it was used.
It was
correctly.
handled wrong.
everything up until like the
A
guy.
mob hunts Michael in a different Halloween movie. It's Halloween 4, and it makes better sense there.
Like having Tommy going around and rallying the troops essentially to like, yo, Michael's out on the loose. We gotta protect ourselves. That's cool. But the second the hospital scene starts and they start the whole evil dice scenario, I'm like, I'm done.
Shout out for the sheriff bracket. That actor still being around.
Oh, that dude's like 100.
Getting to have the line where he says, "It's Halloween, Michael. Everyone's entitled to one good scare."
Oh,
Like, that's pretty good.
that's so good.
Pretty good.
Before he gets his neck.
And then he dies.
Yeah. So my final thoughts. I think all the action is good. It's just some weird scripting choices, some weird like
It just doesn't come together as it should.
this doesn't come together. Yeah, like the sum of like I like elements more than the whole. Yeah.
The core of the film isn't working, and so many other things are that just surround it.
Like
And it's man,
I love like the
you were so
opening stuff.
close.
I'll watch the 10-minute compilation of Big John Little John. I'll listen to the score, and I'll watch 2018 Halloween.
I'll
What would
definitely
you-
watch this movie again.
Yeah.
I do enjoy the experience as a whole.
Yeah.
As a whole, I still enjoy, even as I recognize that there's a lot of issues in
Yeah,
places.
there's problems with this one, whereas
Yeah.
for me, the 2018 one, there was hardly any problems at all. I loved the 2018.
Yeah, I think if I didn't like that first one so much,
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh man, I know the potential.
yeah.
So what would you rate it, Ryan? Why don't you go first?
Man, I really don't like the ending a lot. But it's not like a failed movie, so I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
Ben?
Final thoughts. It is a good Michael Myers on Halloween. It is good, but there like we've been talking about, there are problems with it. Like Karen should have been outside kicking ass and should have been with her daughter. She should have done more. And then when she dies like that, pisses me off. So, but besides that, I think with all the Michael Myers stuff, that outweighs all the other stuff. So I give it an 8.
Nice.
Yeah. Sparks?
Yeah, it's a far cry away from like some of the worst Halloween stuff, even with its major flaws.
Mhm.
I think it's hampered too much by its own ambition, and that's the real issue.
Yeah.
But even then, at least they're trying some bold shit, and some of it is working. Some of the bold choices are working. So overall, like it's still a pretty incredible Halloween experience, I gotta say. And I give it probably an 8. Also, I think I side with Ben.
Nice.
Yeah, I think I said with Ryan, I'll give it a 7.5 as well. It just doesn't come together as well as I would like. But it's still an enjoyable ride. I do like its ambition. It just
Absolutely. It has a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. I do think that's a little rough.
it's low.
That's way-
low.
I
That's
think
way
it's
too
better
low.
than a third of a good movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it works that way sometimes.
Shall we get into our book club then?
I real quick, I will touch on, like, I do think that there's just a lot of venom about this movie, and I think a lot of things we said are like really good criticisms, and there are good criticisms out there. And again, like, there's just a lot that are like that's a start from Halloween 2.
Oh, that's
like that kind of stuff where you're getting that upset about that stuff and saying like that's the detractor of the movie. Like, that's stupid. Come on, man. Like, there's a lot that this movie is actually have going for it.
Yeah.
I get like not liking it, but like saying it's just garbage throughout is just stupid. Like, oh my gosh.
They're definitely, I won't name names, but like I follow a couple comic book people on Twitter, and they hate this movie.
Yeah.
They like, it's like the worst movie they've seen this year. And I'm like, we see different movies, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Shall we go to a book club then?
you planned that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I did.
So
Look at that
funny.
smile.
Good comedy comes in threes.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
Ryan, it's your book club. Take it away.
Okay. Hey guys, I just like I did last year, I picked 6 issues, 5 stories from just various Marvel comics that are very easily available on Marvel Unlimited. I picked a bunch of good ones, I think. Why don't we start with I don't care. What do you guys want to start with?
What if?
You want to start with what if? Which one?
Magik.
Magik?
Yeah.
What if Magik became the Sorcerer Supreme? This book rules. This is the book that put Leia Williams on the map. She was a writer of X Factor doing Trial of Magneto right now. I think this is great. I love Magik, Ileana Rasputin as a character. This is kind of just like a one-shot that kind of ends and doesn't really go further, which is what one-shots do. But I think the characterization of Doctor Strange and Ileana are perfect. I love it. I think this is a fun little read.
It's a better interpretation of because we talked about it when we talked about What If the series, that the idea is that you have to end on a cliffhanger that's like worse than the Bane continuity. I think the idea of like, I don't feel like the story is unfinished when I read this. It's what if she became the Sorcerer Supreme. I see that trajectory when I finish that book. This book, I'm like, I totally get it.
Yeah.
I love how this book ended, where her and Doctor Strange are kind of like in a somewhat of a father-daughter relationship. I really dig that. I love how Doctor Strange's quipping, like when he's talking to Wong, is like, Wong, we have a guest. She's feral.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what pastrami is. I love that line. I don't know much about Ileana, but
Wong, we have a lunch guest.
Oh, yeah.
What a rude word to emphasize. Like, their banter is so good.
Yeah.
the banter is really good, and also one of the aspects I love is how she mastered all other forms of magic besides creation magic, because she brings up the fact that she was made as an instrument of destruction.
Yeah,
how can something who's built to destroy create? And when
She's the Antichrist.
Yeah, and so when she creates the Staff of Souls, it's such a good moment for her, and I love it. And then when like Doctor Strange is fighting, what's his name? The best.
I got it here. Hold on. I'll find it. You keep going.
Yeah, what essentially the dude who raised Ileana in Limbo.
Oh, Belasco.
That guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Doctor Strange is fighting Belasco, and he's like, I think an even match was worth it. He's like, please.
I really liked Doctor Strange's arrogance in this. The whole like when she's just like, no, I'll kill you with all my magic. I was like, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme. You're not going to do anything to me.
Yeah.
And like the whole thing is like, I'm tired. I want to retire, and I think you are the person who should take over.
Ileana is such a fun character. When you see her like in Limbo, she's like, I came of age in a place where we cut each other for fun. Mm-hmm. I'm afraid of nothing but myself. I grew up in hell. And like, I'm Ileana, I'm 15 years old. I'm the Antichrist. I'm like, I love it.
Yeah. Or when she gets a ride from that trucker, and obviously he's trying to do things. And Doctor Strange is like, yeah, so that guy deserved it, sure. But
here's some quick, beautiful poetry that I love. My thoughts are a warren of horrors I navigate in terror, because I'm afraid to one day open the wrong doors and unleash hell as I was designed to do. I see them all the time, the violent ends I was intended to bring as the Antichrist. I think it's a good little one shot. Leia Williams loves this character so much, and Death of Doctor Strange is currently going on, or it's about to happen. So there's going to be a new Sorcerer Supreme. Everybody wants it to be Ileana because she's the dopest. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be Wiccan because he's the current hot sorcerer man. But Ileana, I'm saying.
I am only irritated that there isn't more to this story.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I would definitely read more of this because I would love to see Ileana do more Sorcerer Supreme stuff.
Hell yeah. Let's move on from there. Why don't we talk about the 2-part Iron Man story? That takes place in Paris with some real sad shit.
So I really like that.
Yeah,
because you see people turn to stone a lot in media.
Mhm.
And of course, like you get the nightmares where someone's turned to stone and then they shatter and you know, oh shit, they're dead.
Mhm.
This one is like, oh, it's not a dream. That's real. People are like, when Tony Stark wakes up, he's like, are these? And you see, are these bodies? And
Yeah.
you see the mountain of bodies next that's rivaling the height of the Eiffel Tower itself. It's like,
Yeah.
oh
The
shit.
thing, I haven't read this in a while. Like, this is Matt Fraction's Iron Man run. This is, I think, the best modern Iron Man run besides the Cantwell stuff now, but like the best Iron Man run maybe ever. But coming back to this, his Tony Stark is so good, and you really, really feel the weight of what's happening. Like, he's constantly like, I have to remind myself that these are people that I'm breaking through. And it's like, I feel the weight and like how scared he feels. And like the Grey Gargoyle, who is a silly French character, turns into a monster Hulk. And I find it utterly fascinating. I was so happy to revisit this. There's some stuff in the middle about Bethany Cable and like the Tony Stark Resilient. It's not important. We're here for the horror.
There's a sequence where Iron Man is blown through a building, and the two couple in the apartment that he flies through, and he's like, "Go away! He'll alert us to us," and they die because of that. That very tragic.
Oh, yeah.
Well written.
Yeah, very emotional, very effective. One of my favorite lines is when he first sees the Grey Gargoyle and he's like, "Well, sacre freaking blue."
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
This like, I love Iron Man, and this is the run that really like solidified that run. Yeah, I think it's just a fun 2-issue. Like, it's pretty light. It's just, Grey Gargoyle like really unleashing some horror, and like there's a line near the end where it's like, Pep, I think it's like a total loss of the city. And like he is in like so much trauma. He's like, I have to go. Please stay safe, but I gotta go think about this shit. And he just like, the end of the issue, it's a silent page of him just like flying off because he just saw millions of people die. Horrific stuff. I think it's really effective.
And he himself feels like he could have almost died because the arc reactor is cracked.
Yeah. Art by Salvador Larroca. His art's hit or miss for me. I think it's mostly good here because when you're doing Iron Man like suits, he's really good at drawing suits.
The suit looks really good in this one. I'm not gonna lie, this one I read very late and I was falling asleep
buddy, you're
halfway
fine.
through. But the stuff that mattered, like I think I fell asleep at one point with the Bethany stuff.
Yeah, that's not important to the story right now.
But the horror stuff and him seeing the bodies and like, yo, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, I just think
it definitely hit hard. I was like, man, that is a bad day in the life of Tony Stark.
This took place during the Fear Itself event, and the event itself wasn't really horror. It is horror inspired.
This one's horrible.
This one is definitely horror.
I was going to ask you what you thought of the rest of the Fear Itself event. I was interested after reading these.
I think the event itself is fine. I think the tie-ins are considerably better. It is not the worst Marvel event of the last decade, but it's not the best either. It's right in the middle.
Yeah, that was kind of when they were doing like one a year.
Yeah. Sometimes almost 2 a year. Yeah. So why don't we move on from there? Move on to Marvel Zombie by Maxwell Prince and the meanest devil dinosaur moon girl you've ever met in your life.
Marvel Zombie has one of my favorite like recap pages, which is the letter from Donnie to his mom.
Are you okay? I'm gonna find you.
That gives you the scope of what's going on, and I really love that. I thought that was a really effective way to open the issue.
I'm glad, yeah. So I didn't know this character, Simon Garth Zombie, is a Marvel character from the 50s. He's part of their old horror magazine line. And they have not done anything with him for like 60 years. And then Maxwell Prince, who's the writer of Ice Cream Man, he's like, hey, can I write a one shot that's really sad? And they're like, sure, go for it. This is a story about the zombie apocalypse, and there is a zombie who's real happy and he just wants to be friends with people, and his name's Simon. I think the story rules. It is so dark. I can't believe Marvel let this happen, but it's a one shot, so like, it's a what if.
In the beginning, it reminded me a lot of not Love Simon. What's the movie with Nicholas Hoult as a zombie?
Warm Blooded.
Ooh,
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
I remember. I never seen the movie, but I remember the trailers. It kind of reminded me of
it's
it too.
good. It's good.
Yeah, it is good. Yeah, so it's just like a story of like people trying to survive. You got like Daredevil and like Spider-Man hanging out there trying to survive. They have a mission of like, we got to go blow up this thing.
Misty Knight, Kate Bishop, Hawkeye, Black Widow, and Moon Girl.
Hell yeah, what a team!
What a team!
And there's like a robot devil dinosaur.
Falcon. Did you mention Falcon?
Falcon there too. Yeah, Falcon shows up. Yeah, but it's like a
briefly.
Hey, we got a mission to do. We're gonna blow up this bomb, but we need a living person to set the bomb off because of radioactivity and stuff. Um,
No, not living person. They need the zombie.
oh, sorry, they do need the zombie radioactivity. So
It specifically has to be a zombie.
that's right. So so Donnie has a new friend who's a zombie. So
Wait, don't they say it needs to be a person, and they're like, could it be a zombie? Because they see Simon, and they're like,
Yeah,
why don't we can? There's still enough in there for the zombie to work, so we don't need to have a suicide bomber. Because doesn't she ask like, who wants to be a suicide bomber?
Yeah, she does.
Yes, she absolutely.
Moon Girl asks who wants to be our suicide bomber.
This one is not afraid to just say some shit. Which
And
is
This
pretty
Moon Girl is ready to murder her friends.
She does.
Oh yeah.
She just lets her friends die.
There's a terrific page after the betrayal of Daredevil yelling like what does she yell? Like, do you have the page? Or no,
he
it's like,
yells, "Where's the bomb?
where's the bomb? Like the Moon Girl, where's the bomb?
He is being eaten."
Yeah,
and he is crying
oh my
for the
God,
bomb.
it is so good.
You see everyone else, like you see Spider, like the zombie's about to break through the webbing. Misty Knight gets bit,
Hell yeah.
and then
It's
Black
tragic.
Widow is about to go down as well, and he's crying for Moon Girl, like, "Where's the bomb?"
There's
and then she just takes the bomb off the side.
there's a beautiful page that Donnie is talking to Moon Girl, and he's like, "Oh, so like you used to have like a living dinosaur, right, or whatever?" And he's like, "Yeah, but you know, the devil died a long time ago." And then Donnie's like, "Oh, did you ever have to betray your friend like you're about to do to me, huh?" And she's like, "Yeah, I am a piece of shit, aren't I? I guess I'll just kill all the Avengers." And I'm like, this is so wild. I can't believe this book exists.
That was definitely like when she decides to. I had to reread that page like 3 times because I was like,
She should
I'm,
have.
I'm looking at this. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, she murdered all her friends for a zombie.
Everyone else dies, and she just goes on this dinosaur. She's like, I guess I'll just go elsewhere. Bye.
I picked this up on a whim and I read it. I'm like, oh god, I can't believe Marvel let this happen.
Otto has arms.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Zombie
that
arms.
was
Daredevil says, "Defenders defend." And I was like, that doesn't quite roll off the tongue, but
No.
I applaud you for trying.
Yeah. That's just a nice, really grim one shot that I'm glad Marvel allows to happen.
I mean, also when Daredevil's like 10 Our Fathers and call it even. He's still doing the Catholic thing. I'm like, all right, go.
Yeah, once you're Catholic, you can't go back. True. Let's move on to what if. I don't know the exact title.
What if Marvel Universe went metal with Ghost Rider?
Yeah, so this is like.
I think that's what it. But metal Ghost Rider, yeah.
So this takes place in the real world.
But does it?
Yes.
So this, okay.
It takes place in the Marvel Comics world where the heroes exist and they also have comics written about
Yes.
Yeah. So okay.
But Robbie Reyes isn't Ghost Rider yet.
No, he's Ghost
he's
Rider.
Ghost
Oh, he is. Okay, he is Ghost Rider. Okay.
Okay. This one, I felt it was like a mix of Dark Knight's metal, but spoopy in a way, which I still really liked because they talked about how people were using their blood in the ink, and I feel like Kiss did that once.
I remember thinking it took a while to ramp up to get to like the crazy stuff, but once it got to the crazy sacrifice stuff, that's when it got really wild.
Well, I remember because there was you shared a few pages on Twitter like of this guy saying "Save the comics" with the fire extinguisher.
Oh, that's right.
Because you shared that on Twitter. I'm like, oh, that's where he got that.
I loved this issue. This is my favorite of the bunch.
Hell yeah.
I really love this kind of like, let's just what if we did metal for Ghost Rider. I like Robbie Reyes. I'm really excited. I always love it when we hear his uncle in his ear because that's the spirit that's possessed him. The digs at comic book publishing where they're just like, yeah, we just printed here with this old mule and then we get it on the truck. I thought that was all funny. And all the designs of the ending is just so cool.
Oh yeah.
when they're being attacked and it comes over the broadcast into the room. What's going on down there? Get those issues shipped. Nothing stops comics on print day. And then Robbie's like, this freaking business.
Yeah.
That was funny.
And then this is the one that I read the furthest back, so my memory on it isn't as good. But I remember there's a band that they get, right? And then like they
it's a band from Latveria.
They come and visit.
Right,
and
it's a Latvian band.
They're taking a tour and they want comics printed with their blood, and that's
That's
why
right.
they're there. And like they get in and they see all the people working hard at their computers, and they go, "The silent struggle, that pointless search for meaning in the blinking void of life. It's even more beautiful than I ever could have hoped for."
God.
There's the three band members. The lead singer is like, yeah, I'm a huge Marvel Comics fan. I love Marvel Comics. I love all these characters. And then the other two couldn't be. They don't care about comics.
Like
and I
the
think
other
that's funny.
loves.
Yes. So here it's that one says, yes, Hasselwald invades the Marvel universe, and then his guitarist goes, "Fandom is a cancer. The fear of change is the fear of death."
That's the drummer. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then she's like, "These colors burn my eyes." it kind of reminds me a bit of Death Clock in a way, a little bit.
Yeah, when
yeah.
But it's weird because like when you meet this band, they're all like happy. It's like, hey, we're like the one is like super excited to be here. The other two are like,
yeah,
"Other
CB
dad, our
Cebulski talks to Robbie Reyes, and he's like, this band is like so hardcore, and you know that blah, blah, blah. And he meets them, and they're like, hey, what's going on? We're really excited to be here.
What's the onus of the world turning completely tentacle monster at the end? I don't remember. I just remember the visuals in my brain.
They have like they put their blood in the ink, and the ink in the comic it turns into like whoever reads the comic.
Oh, the comic comes alive.
Yeah, okay. Whoever reads the book turns into like a hellish monster.
Right.
And then because they put their blood in the ink and they did like some sacrificial rite or something, like the entire world goes into like some Stefan Sejic Marvel Hell Dream.
That
looks a lot like Stefan Sejic's Death Vigil shit. You cannot say that.
I wasn't going to. I wasn't even going to comment on it.
It's the artist from Homesick Pilots.
Rad. Yeah, I definitely saw that. The idea of like Eli's uncle, that kind of being like, okay, well, let's change now. This is kind of cool though. I'm into this. Yeah. Like he's like okay with the world ending.
Yeah, one thing I do, as bonkers as that one was, I still had a fun time with it.
Oh yeah,
because that's like it's like I'm pretty sure when they were writing it, it's like F it, let's just have some fun.
I just love that like every couple years, What If comes back. Like Chip Zdarsky's doing the What If stuff now, and this was only 2018, so like they took a short break before bringing it back.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to our final issue. I've been on a huge Ghost Rider kick. I mean, no, we just read Ghost Rider. We're gonna read a classic Ghost Rider issue.
About the Ghost Rider issue.
Ghost Rider number 7 from 1993, by Howard Mackie and Mark Texiera. I think Mark Texiera might be my favorite artist of all time, you guys. It's his art is it's insane. I don't know anyone else who draws like him. The shading, the character expressions, especially Blackout. Blackout is the vampire man who has one big eyeball. I think this issue is very reminiscent, and I now realize it is very reminiscent of classic Swamp Thing. They're single issues of a character getting vengeance on different monsters. Scarecrow is a villain who people know from DC. They don't really know there's a Marvel Scarecrow, but there is. I think he's horrifying. He is terrifying. He has an obsession with Captain America, and only Captain America can stop him because he's
I want to rip him open and show him what's inside.
Yes,
it's inside us all. The fear.
This again is a Marvel comic that showed a dead baby. Or not even a dead baby, but like the outline of a dead baby.
The body outline of a dead baby.
But like this comic is so metal, and the stuff with Scarecrow I think works so well on such like an unnerving level. And like the ending, it is so cool, and I not the end with him crying about his sister, but like it feels like an issue of Swamp Thing where he's like, I need to die by Captain America only, and if you're not Captain America, I'm just gonna kill myself.
Yeah.
And he jumps onto his own pitchfork, and then it's 3 panels of him on a pitchfork, and I'm like, oh man, this is classic comics.
And he's taken away by someone.
Yeah, and he's taken away from someone, which I'll find out soon. But like, yeah, man, let's talk about this issue a bit. I think the art is truly exceptional, you guys.
Yeah, I loved it.
This is definitely 90s comic book art at its peak. As I would
argue at its best.
Yeah, definitely. It's just you when you see that older style from like the late 80s and the early 90s, because you can tell like these are old comic books. But as I was reading this, it brings me back to when you had these single issues. Like, yes, there was an overarching story, but the main focus but that was the subplot, and then that would build up to either an event or something.
Like the Monster of the Week stuff.
Kind of, yeah. But I kind of miss that Monster of the Month stuff where it's like you have the one villain and the one story, and it was beginning, middle, end. And I really liked this new Ghost Rider, because the only Ghost Riders I know are Johnny Blaze and Robbie Reyes. That's it.
Yeah.
But reading about Danny and his connection to the bike, I'm not entrenched in classic Ghost Rider like you are, but just like seeing him like go through that, like the spirit of like living with the spirit of vengeance, and him fighting the Scarecrow, and like you will suffer my penance there. He's like, no, I'm just gonna die, dude. Bye. I think this one and Magik are my 2 favorites of the bunch you picked. I really enjoyed this one.
You must be made to suffer as you have made others suffer. You must feel the pain.
Yeah.
I just love it. He's just like, it's like wacky poetic. Oh my god. Okay, so my favorite line is it's Scarecrow. This is before he murders people. He's sitting on a New York like skyscraper, and he's like, that night in Brooklyn Heights. Oh my captain, how you so disappoint me. The fearful thing is rising again, seeing its ilk in others, and you are not here to prevent it. And it's a close up of his eyes crying. It's so effing good. And this Ghost Rider run, Mark Texiera, he was a painter who became a comic artist. He did Space Punisher. He's the artist for Space Punisher. The thing about his style specifically that doesn't keep up is he switched to digital, and digital simply the shading doesn't work the same, the penciling doesn't work the same. His artwork is not what it used to be, but he's also much older now, so
Yeah, I wouldn't have pegged him as the same artist.
Yeah, because he's gone digital now, and like he was on Ghost Rider for like almost like throughout 20 years of history. He was working on it up until the 2000s, and he switched to digital. And I was looking at some like Ghost Rider 200 or whatever, and I'm like, the art's just not the same. It's the same artist, but it's just you switch to digital, and it's the feel, the look isn't there anymore. It's still a great artist, but like the texture of these pages, it's unlike any comic I've ever read. Like it is truly, I love it so much.
Yeah. Sparks, did you say anything about this one?
I did.
Yeah.
I said I liked it.
Yeah.
All right. Should we call it then?
33303.
All right. So that'll do it. My book club next week, I have chosen Star Wars Adventures: Tales from Vader's Castle. By a number of writers and artists. Mostly Derek Charm, actually.
Good job, Derek.
Yeah. Actually, same people. Kevin Scott, Derek Charm, and then a bunch of colorists, different colorists and inkers. And
Kevin Scott is a big book man. He's writing those books.
Yeah. So excited. I like these. I wanted to read them when they were coming out. I like the idea of this kind of horror spinning out of Vader's castle, which I think is a cool design.
I'm very excited to read that.
Yeah. All right, that'll do it then. Stay tuned for next week where we are talking about Dune.
Oh, the Bene Gesserit, the Muad'Dib, Paul Muad'Dib, Stilgar.
And I would assume the book club episode will probably come out around that time.
We'll discuss it off air. Also, talk to other people in other podcasts who want to join with it, because I know I've talked to other people about it. Dune book club, Dune review, Dune, David Lynch's Dune. It's all happening soon, baby.
So much Dune.
Too much.
We're gonna live on Arrakis for a couple of weeks.
As long as we got our still suits, then we'll be fine.
All right, so that'll do it for this week. So check out some of our other stuff on this channel. You can check out. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. You can get such cool things over on our audio feed. Though there is Conversation, you can get that. That's the show that I do where I talk to other podcasts. Ramping up, getting ready to start recording for season 2. Season 1 is all there. You can check out all those cool discussions that I had with some really great people. It's all there for you guys to discover for the first time. Or you could check out some stuff on this channel. We got a bunch of cool shows on this channel, such as Fictioners Watch, where we just finished What If, the latest Marvel TV series. There's probably going to be some more kind of specials for Fictioners Watch before Hawkeye starts, so stay tuned. And of course, going right now, and the final episode will be recorded soon for Star Trek Lower Decks, which I do with Downright Nerdy, and Just a Little Podcast. So check out all those stuff.
Yeah.
Check out Basement Arcade, back with a vengeance. The spooky Basement Arcade is here.
So
where
much
we the latest episodes are out now for Outlast Part 1 and Crawl Part 2, and more coming.
Yeah, there's more.
And much more for the rest of October.
Look how enthusiastically I'm saying this.
Well,
I got all the enthusiasm for you.
Can you be enthusiastic for a Basement Arcade pause menu?
Hell yeah, I can. I freaking love doing that show.
Just the other show that's on this that you can find on this channel. That you did that with Synth Spacies.
Yep, Synth Spacies is up now, and I got 2 more in the pipeline.
There you go. Fake Nerd Book Club and Animation Station are also on this channel. You can check out all the episodes up for those new episodes soon.
Oh yeah.
If you want to get a mask, if you want to support us, try our mask. We have in the link below. We have Crafted by Z. She does our masks for us. You can find those links below. Our Patreon. You can check out the tiers on our Patreon. The shirt tier is currently suspended while I try my damnedest to get those damn shirts. But you can check out our $1 tier. It's only $1, and it'll help a lot. Or you can check out our TeePublic, where we are putting up a new shirt, Oops All Bangers. That's going to be up this week, and you can find all the other shirts up there. Tons of logos and whatnot. Or you can find all those links on our website at fakenerdpodcast.com. That is also linked below. Check us out, guys. We got a lot of stuff on the internet. I think you're all gonna like it.
It's true, all of it.
Thank you to everyone who listens. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who watches the rewind, and thank you to everyone who watches this live when you guys do. Always appreciate the support in that way. Thank you to Jeremy Vellucci for our theme music, all the theme music that you heard this night in the most confusing order that they have ever been played. You can check out his stuff at Jeremy Vellucci Keyboards or his podcast on iTunes, facebook.com/Suburban Proctologist Official, or Instagram at Subproc Podcast. Thank you to Mike Matola, who does our logos. We got some shirts with his logos up on our TeePublic. We got our Fake Nerd Podcast logo, Fake Nerd Book Club, Miscellaneous. We love his work. Hopefully more collaborations with him soon. But you can find him on TikTok and Instagram at Mike Matola. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Fake Nerd Podcast. That's where you can find us. FakeNerdGuys@gmail.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us personally, I'm at BT McClure on Instagram and Twitter. Sparks?
You can find me just enjoying the fact that any Halloween in Haddonfield is a good Halloween. At Sparks Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty.
We all deserve a good scare.
Paul Rudd played Tommy Doyle, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Shit, we did.
Yep.
Oh,
Ben?
you can find me furiously reading Dune at BenMac27 on Instagram and Twitter. And also you can find me writing for oldschoolgamermagazine.com. Yeah, that new article didn't go up because guess what? Dune. I gotta finish that damn book. Once it's done, a new article will go up, I swear.
Ryan?
I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration at DJ Tony Snark.
Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music and Podcasts, and Pandora. Rate and review wherever you get us. Like this video. Subscribe to this channel. Until next week, guys, stay fake nerds.
What will the